Hi. I'm glad we're saying nice things about my beautiful beloved friend Grace right now, because it's real and true.
Also, don't forget, don't worry, person whose name I can no longer read because you're too far away from me. No one understands how English works. Even us native English speakers don't know how English works.
Real and true. Real and very true. Grace, your epitaph kick has been really funny.
It's been really, really, really funny, and I won't tell you which ways you are really funny and which ways you are right and also funny.
I'll tell you this, you're not boring us.
We've been gossiping about your epitaph theories and about your blue truths.
Those who know Grace predominantly from stream, I hope you know Grace is also my friend who gets posted about sometimes. I'm usually talking about her. If that puts a name to things. I imagine such things can be sussed, but gamers, how we doing? I had a nice evening. I ate so much mango curry, and it was really good. But we both had a lot to eat for dinner, and our energy is flagging. But it was really good.
We did have a really good dinner. I got some spicy fried rice.
Mm-hmm.
You got like a mango curry.
Yeah.
And then we got rolled ice cream.
Yeah, really good. You have been solving the epitaph for 3 days straight. It's scary. The absolute state of our DMs is really something. I am so excited for stuff that I think we're probably going to get to tonight. That I hope we do. But even if we don't, this is a great section of the game. Episode 5 is good. Has anyone said this before?
Never.
It's 2 a.m. Good lord. Well, I thank you for showing up in an absolutely fucked time zone situation. Shall we, without further ado, get into it? Shall I cut the fucking music? Despite my love for fishy aroma. I've like forgotten how to do... I like did a bunch of stuff in OBS earlier today because I had to do some setup. And I like forgot how that... forgot how to do anything. This bodes well. I currently have Umineko open. I was solving it right before stream, but soon we'll be going to continue episode 7. Oh shit. It's like tonight? You're doing more tonight? Have fun! Have so much fun, Grace! Scary. Don't even worry about it. Umineko is good. Has anyone said this before?
I should follow some of these people on my Tumblr that I use once a month.
I can
start promoting my art account that I actually sometimes post on.
Those whose usernames I know for sure. The problem is everyone who is both from my blog and on Twitch has a completely different username than their Tumblr one, which makes it really funny because I think I know who most people are. But I have had to like be like, okay. I have had to think about it, which is really funny. Alright. I almost just started game 5 from the beginning. Oh, that's right. Natsuhi, something regular was about to happen with her, I think. Why is... Okay, here we go. This is you, my friend.
What in the...
Natsuhi flew into the cousin room on the second floor of the guest house, and was struck dumb by the blood-stained beds and the eerie magic circle, which looked like it might have been drawn with the victim's blood.
Where's Jessica? Where is she? Jessica?
In that bed.
A bed? Where?
Everything regular happens to Natsuhi in Umineko no Nakukoto ni Chiro episode 5. This is true. This is Natsuhi's normal one. Huh? George? Wait. Hang on. Oh, okay, they're gone, I see.
Mm-hmm.
I was confused. I had like a fear of like, did I save? Where is he? Wait a sec. What the hell is going on here?
We made sure to lock this room when we left, right? We can now be certain the culprit has a master key. Once again, my reasoning was correct.
Who cares about that? Where did they go? Where did everyone's corpses go?
Nice trick.
Hey, look, it's magic, right? That gop who's with Beto hid the corpses somewhere with magic.
All of us moved together. So you're trying to say that everyone had alibis?
Your reasoning goes like this, right? The four of them weren't actually dead, they were just plain dead. Then when no one else was around, they hid somewhere. Am I right?
You don't intend to proclaim any of their deaths in red now, do you?
Of course I won't! Unlike that dolt Beto, I don't give red out for free.
In that case, I'll be glad to use the blue truth. I can think of many ways to work around something at this level.
Sure, go ahead. Blue truth time!
A few weeks ago, Umitag was infected with some Rudolph thirster, and let me tell you, ignoring that I'm a lesbian, it was a hell on earth. That's wild. Rudolph is an interesting choice.
That was Kirie.
And that Rudolph thirster? Kirie Ushiromiya.
Here's the first one I can think of. The victims aren't actually dead. They pretended to be dead, then secretly hid themselves somewhere. After all, you haven't proclaimed anyone's deaths with the red truth.
Even though you've been shown their gaping wounds, you're still trying that one on principle as long as there's no red, right? But don't get your hopes up. I'm not giving you a freebie red truth. After all, I just have to deny it once and for all at the end of the game at midnight on October 5th. The witch's side is such a big advantage. It'd all be over now if that stupid Battler was my opponent. But you aren't like that, right, Burn?
Of course. Anyone could have thought of that silly move. I have more. Second one. Kraus carried the corpses off and hid them. You've acted it out so that it looks like you've kidnapped Kraus and locked him up somewhere, but he might actually be free. Kraus has no alibi. Kraus hid their corpses.
Yeah, that's right. It's not like I could proclaim that Kraus is being confined with the red truth. You know what they say, you've got to confuse your friends before you can confuse your enemies. So he lied to Natsuhi, making it seem like he'd been captured. Any others?
Third one. The corpses were different people in the first place. They were substitute corpses that closely resembled the victims. George and the others were hiding from the beginning, and later cleared up those substitute corpses. These corpses were dead from the very beginning, so they don't count towards the number of people on the island.
That's messed up. So even though all those people gathered around and saw their dead faces, none of them realized they were substitute corpses?
Since you haven't used the red truth, there's a possibility that everyone misidentified all of the corpses. Though if you feel like repeating no one would misidentify a person, I'll withdraw that claim immediately, okay?
Bye, Grace. See you
Bye,
again.
Grace!
Have so much fun.
No way! I'm not falling for that. The red shirt's only useful when you use it with a flash, right? I'll take a single truth out of a large pile of blue and smash it with the red. Then the rest of the blue truths will be swallowed up by darkness before you can find out whether they are right or wrong. That darkness is the world of witches. You won't be given any truth at all.
This girl acts like she's stupid, but she's not bad at all. She'll never rise to provocation. Looks like she understands the darkness of magic even better than the true game master Beato.
I'm wondering maybe this is this Bella or is this Burn?
I'm reading it as Burn.
Okay.
This doesn't sound like Battler. This girl acts like she's stupid, but she's not bad at all.
And apparently Gop also understood that well. That move of hiding the corpses. It was pretty effective for both Lambda and Beato. In any event, I've thought up a full 3 theories about the disappearing corpses. 3 blue wedges for a single riddle. That doesn't mean she can just deny one of those 3. Unless she eliminates all 3 wedges, this riddle has been defeated. That's the ironclad rule of witch hunting. A single wedge isn't nearly enough. Only vampires die from a single stake. Compared to witches, vampires are weak. True witches won't die unless you stab them all over with stakes, right? It's the same with assassins, isn't it? It's only in Japanese manga that you see assassins kill their targets with a single perfect shot. Real assassins will empty out an entire magazine's worth of bullets. That's how you do things, right? Of course, it's the same for me. But it's this girl we're talking about, so she might slice it all in 2 with a single swipe of the red. By simply letting off a few quick lines confirming their deaths and Krause's innocence with the red, she can remove all 3 of my wedges. Well, that's okay. When the red truth does come out, I just need to follow along with it and stab her full of blue wedges again. This is how a game of witches plays out. It's so fun. Battler's sluggish battles always pissed me off, so I'm loving this. Yeah, I understand, Lambda. This first twilight is just the beginning of the beginning. It's just a skirmish, right? Wouldn't have it any other way. I'll make you lose pathetically and cry out in regret as you crawl and scratch at the floor. I've almost forgotten the pleasure of grabbing that cute hair of yours and wiping the floor with it as I roll around laughing.
Wow.
God, they're so normal.
Gay rights.
Gay rights. Gay wrongs. The servant waiting room in the mansion had once again gone silent. There lay Genji's corpse, which had been covered completely with a blanket. In the ceiling of this cramped room, a pitch-black hole appeared, captivating legs sprouted out, and Gop floated downwards.
Sorry, Genji. You probably want to enjoy your eternal sleep right there, but that's not gonna be possible. Please disappear from this place so that you may serve Nazi, the final head of the Ashirmia family, even after death.
We're just saying it now, huh? Gop stripped off the blanket as she said this to Genji, who was sleeping peacefully. Then she stared at the deep wound in his neck.
That's a nice cut. It must have been made with a single slice. Has anyone who's capable of this manifested yet? Not good. I can't think of anyone decent who might be capable of this.
It goes without saying, but witches are capable of summoning beings with a strength proportional to their own ability. The great Lady Lambda Delta called that being here as a trump card 19th person. Rikishi sounds like someone who might describe a woman as leggy. A little bit. Even optimistically speaking... Oh, this is Gop.
The great Lady Lambda Delta called that being here as a trump card 19th person. Even optimistically speaking, this is on par, Runaway and me.
A pitch-black hole opened on the bed, and Genji disappeared as though the bed had swallowed him up. Just like the four in the guest house, Genji's corpse was also hidden in some unknown place. It was a place that no one could find, located neither within this world nor the next. No longer would anyone be able to find their corpses. No longer would anyone be able to confirm their deaths. She carried Genji's corpse to this place of endless silence, where it would never be disturbed.
When there's no corpse, a person goes missing. When a person's missing, people both suspect that they might be the culprit and suspect that they might be victims. Truly like the inside of a cat box. The darkness inside the cat boxes that'll never be opened is where we demons and witches reside. You're a bit slow, Miss Great Detective.
Gop licked her lips and gulped.
I wonder why Gop-sama is going around hiding corpses.
I don't know, but Gopsama is pretty cool. She's just so awesome.
Don't be stupid! What happened to standing guard? The humans are returning from the guest house! Gop-sama!
Yes, let's disperse. This should be enough to give Nazi a way out.
Gop jumped into a pitch-black hole that had opened near her feet. Mammon said, "I'm going in too," and jumped in, followed by Ozma, who said, me too, and hopped in, giggling. As Satan hesitated over what to do, the hole closed. "And you call yourselves members of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory? How childish! So stupid!" Satan went bright red and got angry all by herself, likely thing for her to do, then turned into gold butterflies and disappeared. It seems Gop has succeeded in moving the 5 corpses.
Well done. However, the next part is tricky.
They will probably be somewhat surprised at the disappearance of Genji's corpse, but their interest will most likely swing back to Kinzo's study after that.
There are 2 keys to the study. It's fortunate that Nazi is in possession of both. If she had left one with Genji, it probably would have been fallen into Lady Lambda Delta's hands by now.
It seems that Lady Lambda Delta has no intention of hiding Kinzo's death. Apparently she plans to fight while ignoring the moat, towers, and ramparts that you have created.
This has become a strange triangular confrontation. We are all each other's enemies, but we'll sometimes join forces without notice. In a 3-way fight, just when you think 2 against 1, it suddenly comes 1 against 2. That's what it's like.
The thing about episode 5 is that it's episode 5.
Yeah, it's episode 5.
The Chinese Battle Royale! Don't you think it's like the Records of the 3 Kingdoms thing?
Oh, the Longjong plan. That's quite a sophisticated analogy to hear coming from you.
There were 3 empires and Records of the 3 Kingdoms, weren't there?
I would assume so. Based on the name.
Wow, this is just like Fire Emblem Fates.
I hate you. I like how that's your pull for a Fire Emblem game with 3 of something.
It's the one that I knew would hurt you the most.
That's fair. That was a precision strike, I understand.
Wei Wu and Shu, right? That sounds just like us. So, which one empire won out in the end?
The power that gained control in the end was the Jin dynasty, secret fourth thing.
Ah, fuck.
The 3 empires you mentioned were all destroyed. I like him. I like her sprite being this while he says that. She's like, okay, which one won? Tell me. We'll act like them. And he's like, well, they all got blowed up, milady. They are all fucking died.
I don't know that. I thought one of the 3 empires won.
Really good read of this sprite.
Didn't the Wei have an overwhelming advantage?
They had the position of emperor stolen from them, and their empire was subjugated and destroyed. She didn't get to that part yet. The Sima clan, a noble family that Cao Cao invited in as advisors, eventually gained central control, or maybe it's Chow Chow. I don't know, I'm sorry. In a power struggle and took over the country.
So they were invited as advisors and they seized control. Very interesting. That Lady Lambda Delta.
Pardon me. The humans have confirmed the disappearance of Genji's corpse in the servant waiting room. They have started moving towards Lord Goldsmith's study.
Vici, they're coming. Let them come. The humans and the witches of certainty and miracles.
Oh, it's Cao Cao. Okay, thank you. I will bear that in mind.
If this is a 3-way fight, then we've got humans, witches, and... what should we be called?
I, like, vaguely know that one of the writing systems that, like, transliterates Chinese, but I don't remember it super well, and there's probably other ways that it's done that I'm not familiar with.
If the thing we're protecting for the time being is Kinzo's phantom, so are we phantoms, then? I'm trying to regain the plot on my Beatrice voice.
I completely understand. I just really like that track.
It's really
The,
good.
like, kind of electric keyboard version of that, of organ short number 600 million in C minor.
Father, it's not C. Good morning.
There's no way he'll wake up if you do it like that. Father, it's Ava. Please wake up. It's an emergency.
Ava pushed Natsuhi aside and knocked repeatedly with all her strength.
Quiet down. You're being too boisterous.
Is now really the time to be saying something like that? So he isn't picking up the phone, and he isn't responding to knocking either. That's troublesome.
You might be in a bad mood again.
I like when the sprite proportions don't make a lot of sense, because Erica looks gigantic right now.
She's 4 apples tall.
Because Nanjo's proportion, because she has, kind of chibi proportions, but Nanjo has grown-ass man proportions, but they've made them roughly as tall as each other. I think it's beautiful. Big Erica theory. It's like bigger Luke.
Gunzo-san sometimes considers even the slightest change to be an omen. And gets into a bad mood for reasons only he can understand. Oh! Yes, that's true.
Or small Nanjo theory. That's true. That's possible.
Okay, what about Big Erica and small Nanjo.
Yeah. Slightly larger Erica, slightly smaller Nanjo.
Mm-hmm.
Forced perspective.
This isn't something that started today.
Sapping his height, exactly.
Literally, every time Erica uses her detective's authority, she absorbs some of the hate from the people around her.
She gets slightly larger every time she appears. That seems like the kind of shit Nikishi would do. Have a character who just gets a little bigger every time they show up without explanation. Is that how badly Grandfather wants to shut himself away in the study?
Yes. It's not uncommon for him to stay in his study for more than a month at a time.
Don't tell anyone, but even though I work here, I sometimes forget that the master even lives here. Goda, come on!
Goda! That's not the sort of thing a servant should be saying!
My apologies, madam. I am truly sorry.
Anyway, isn't it bad that we can't get in contact with them?
Goda, contender for the funniest Umineko character. And I do not say that lightly.
Father might not even know there's been a crime! Right! Well, I wonder.
Keenly noticing that people were starting to doubt Kinzo's existence, Kanon mumbled those words, very helpful. Well, I wonder.
Well, I wonder. Who was the last person to meet Father? Stop having them speak after each other!
Umineko is getting your ass.
Umineko heard me complain in episode 4. I was like, we should keep doing this.
I think that's beautiful.
It was me. Last night. Up until the time of the uproar when Battler found the gold. I was in Father's study giving the daily report.
So at around 2300 last night.
No way around it. Let's open it up.
What did you say? This is the family head's precious study and research room. No one is permitted to trespass without permission, okay?
People are not generally permitted to trespass without permission, as a rule. Usually if you don't have permission... First of all, if you have permission to trespass, I think it's not trespassing anymore. Legally speaking. Now, I'm no expert.
Who here holds the highest rank? Me, right? I am the third in rank of the Yoshinomiya family. If we open it and get scolded by Father, that's also the responsibility of the highest ranked. Because of the urgent circumstances, we'll open this door. You have a key, right? Open it.
I believe you know this, but the study key cannot be opened with the master key.
The master has recently taken away Genji-sama's key as well. So he has both keys and on his person. Therefore,
So both of the keys that can open this door are inside the study.
A closed room.
I love this face. She's like...
Yay!
She's like perked up like a dog that just saw a ball. Someone just said walkies in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
A closed room. Good. It's finally starting to get a little interesting. It'd be pretty neat if Kinzo-san was lying on the bed in there with his throat cut.
You're being far too indiscreet, Erika-san. Anyway, as you know, this door can only be opened by the keys that Father has. It means anyone, even a murderer, would find it impossible to even touch Father from the outside of the room. So Father must be okay.
Her pigtails stick up when she hears closed room. like a dog's ears. Yeah, exactly.
Still, that doesn't mean we shouldn't worry about confirming his safety. Are you really so unconcerned about this for the safety of the father you respect so much?
That isn't.
I love this Ava face so much. Likely face for her to make. The atmosphere, which had been so agitated a second ago, suddenly went cold, and an eerie feeling filled the room as everyone stared at Natsuhi. They could understand why Natsuhi would protect the study under normal circumstances. People knew that she probably didn't want to disturb the research of Kinzo, a man she certainly respected, and she was therefore trying to keep the unpleasant relatives away. However, this was an extraordinary situation. A murder had occurred. Natsuhi's persistence in keeping things quiet for Kinzo, even in a situation like this, was hard to understand using common sense.
There's a good chance that the crime occurring on this island will turn out to be plotline murders mimicking the epitaph. It's probably a good idea to assume that the crimes will continue. If we view these as plotline murders, then it will keep going until a total of 13 lives are taken. Do you have any concept of how many victims that would be?
Well, 13, I imagine. Wait a sec. How many people do you think there are on this island? Wouldn't that be almost everyone?
No, you've got it all wrong.
I hate her.
I wonder if that's a Poirot thing too, because isn't he like French or Belgian? He's French
sounds
speaking,
French
I think.
by that name.
His name is Poirot, yeah. Maybe I'm making an assumption. I know she makes other Poirot references.
As far as I know, the mystery novel with the most dead people in a serial murder was And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, which had 10 deaths. In the realm of Japanese mysteries, it's probably the Tokyo Zodiac Murders by Shimada Soji. Though there were less than 10 deaths in that one.
I want to read that for fun.
Hang on, this is one of the ones that I didn't have on my Umineko reading list. I'm just taking a photo of this screen for a sec. He gets into French when he gets excited. He is Belgian, okay. I said French and then I was like, that's not right, but he's French speaking. To be honest, I know everything's still funny in this situation. That in this situation they hide everything. But like, oh yeah, let's get this outsider 16/30-year-old to investigate our family business. God.
Oh, I think, remember the throwable Battler plushies I told you about? I think
Yes.
the pre-orders go up tomorrow.
Oh, hell yeah. Good.
Did you know? If 13 people die, as it seems they will, it'll lead to the most infamous and famous development in the history of the mystery genre. The completion of a 13-person serial murder case. Right?
Oh, there is a good Tumblr post that's like similar Umineko references mystery books? That's good to know. I have a crazy reading list from Umineko. I still need to get through the Divine Comedy one of these days.
And if everyone in this island is killed, that'd make it a historical achievement in the world of serial murder mysteries, with even more deaths than the longest murder mystery in the world, and the longest one in Japan put together, don't you see? Hey, didn't you know? Everyone? The culprit in this crime is giving us an incredible challenge, one that might even surpass all the mysteries throughout the world and throughout history.
God, that's a really good image. It's if you know the video of somebody bringing a small plushie to the beach and having it carried off by like a hawk. The throwable Battler plush was photoshopped into that.
It was really good.
Of course, everyone realized that long ago, right? If you like mystery, Christie's a must-read. If you're Japanese, then it's only natural that you've read Shimada Soji's works all the way through. Are you sure you've been reading enough, everyone?
It's useless.
Huh?
Looks like you haven't read enough yourself.
Did I say something wrong?
Everything you've said has been wrong, girl.
Erica, who had been chatting away happily all by herself up until a second ago, changed her expression into a displeased glare in an instant. What you were saying about the Japanese mystery genre. Sakaguchi Ango's non-serial murders beats the Zodiac murders.
The number of people was the same in both, right?
They tie for the record, but Non-Serial Murders was first published in 1947. Zodiac Murders was 1981. If you know so much about it, shouldn't you have mentioned Non-Serial Murders first? Erica glared at Battler with an expression that couldn't be fully described with the word shock. And her arms shook as she stood there, lost for words. This is such a... Erica does not have a bad sprite, I believe this.
That's totally so lame. Oh, that's understandable. The crimes in Zodiac took place in 1936, right? That must have gotten her confused, right?
Lambda Delta kept on hitting the table, overcome with laughter. Even Berncastle, who had been struck with humiliation. Okay, so Lambda sometimes plays Battler. I think is the implication of this,
Yep.
yeah? Even Berncastle, who
Lambda
had
is now playing Battler.
What?
Interesting.
What?
I just like it's interesting that she's now playing Battler after Bird was playing her earlier.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I just like it's switched off.
yeah. Even Berncastle, who had been struck with humiliation, snorted and started pounding the table and laughing in the same way.
This is just too good. Not bad, Peace Battler. I'm impressed. You must read a lot, don't you, Battler-san?
Books? I hardly read those at all.
You liar! You know quite a lot, don't you?
I never say something as arrogant as I'm a book reader. I'm a book reader isn't something a person who doesn't even read 100 per year should say so lightly, don't you think?
You mere beast!
Anyways, we can't let such a massive crime take place.
I like how the way that you best Erica is just to actually her.
Yeah.
Actually, Non-Serial Murders had the same number of murders, but it was published first. Checkmate. That's right. It's like, mind you, what, 5 or 6 people are dead? I think 5 are confirmed dead right now. It's first Twilight, so we assume 6. At any rate, checking Dad's safety is our first priority right now. But what should we do? He's ignoring the phone and our knocks. The keys are inside. There's nothing we can do. Are we supposed to knock this thick door down? That won't be easy.
Father might have been attacked by someone and severely injured, and maybe he's waiting for someone to help him. This is an extraordinary circumstance. Even Father will understand. And if he has any rebukes, I'll be happy to take responsibility myself.
But breaking the door down would be quite rude.
People are dying, Natsuki. This isn't working anymore.
What about the window?
She makes a compelling argument.
You know what they say. To the window.
They don't say that yet.
Well, you know how it goes.
What are you talking about?
Don't worry about it.
That's right. The window. Is there a ladder somewhere that can reach as high as the 3rd floor? We should be able to get inside by smashing the window.
Erica finally came back to her senses, and her tone regained its decisive edge. I have not been voicing her with a decisive edge.
A 3rd-story window? That would be dangerous.
We don't know unless we try. Is there a ladder around here that can reach up 3 floors?
I don't think the ladder in the gardening shed is long enough.
Oh, then what about the ladder in the boiler room? I remember using it earlier when a bird made a nest on top of the rain gutter. Yes, that would be able to reach without a doubt. He must have been extremely happy about thinking of something Cannon hadn't. Looking pleased with himself as though he had won something, he glanced around at everyone. He was probably hoping that Natsuhi would praise him, but she quickly avoided his gaze.
Love that. She was like, Ken and Shannon, she all knew about them. It's like, maybe if we just don't say anything.
Yeah.
We could continue to close, and then Goda just blurts that out, and all of them are just like, are you fucking kidding me?
And he's so proud of himself. Natsuhi, I'm picturing her doing the, like, physically shielding her eyes with her hands, like, looking away. God. Of course Kanon had known about that ladder, too. However, in order to protect Kinzo's secret, he had intentionally pretended to have forgotten.
But with this weather and the strong winds, isn't this just too dangerous?
Everyone here is fighting for their lives, and Goda's just like... Oh, it's so funny.
Everyone fucking hates Goda.
It's not even really his fault this time.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
They're just like, are you fucking kidding me?
He doesn't know.
I agree, if someone gets seriously injured, we can't go to a hospital until tomorrow, right? The wind might not be as strong in the courtyard. I think it's at least worth it to take a look.
But truly, going up to the 3rd floor will be quite a challenge. Huh? Okay, yeah. Wasn't sure for a sec.
I was just like, no, it's gonna be Goda.
No, yeah. Back when I had to clean up the bird's nest.
Natsuhi is doing this right now.
I just did something very Goda, which was accidentally saying I instead of we. Back when we had to clean up the bird's nest, most of the servants shrank away from the danger. And that's when I, your humble servant, took on a major role in spectacularly handling the situation.
Natsui is just like, don't fucking do this to me right
They
now.
put her on the screen there just so you would remember the migraine this is giving her.
She's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh my god.
Right then, there's no problem. Let's just get a ladder that'll reach.
And it looks like someone here already has experience with this sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
He did not want to have to do that shit.
God. There's something really funny about semi-recently I read back through episode 5 and I like wasn't the most into it at the time because I was sort of like, I mean, when I do like my Umineko rereads, it's often like in the background of something else because I'm like, I basically know what happens, obviously, but it's funny to like be streaming it and be like, no, it really is that good when I'm actually like sitting here with it and like really engaging with it. I'm like, no, this is a great episode. The courtyard was surrounded on all 4 sides, so while the rain was still fierce, the winds had almost no effect. Fortunately, the ceiling jutted out a bit, so even the rain wasn't so bad. Okay, let's try standing the ladder up. Be careful. Don't hurt yourself. Sure. Rudolph and Badler carried the special ladder, which was designed for work on high places. As I imagine most ladders are? 2 umbrellas followed the pair. Shannon and Cannon were holding umbrellas and sheltering them from the rain. Doesn't matter if we get wet. Go back under the eaves. Go to San. Even if there's something wrong with your knees, you can at least hold a ladder down, right? Yes. If only I had enough hyaluronan. Is that how you say that? I'm gonna go with that. Going up a ladder would be no problem at all. I am truly sorry. Goda clambered forward to replace Shannon and Cannon. As she watched this, Kirie giggled. Dad, hammer. Cool. Badler, you love athletics, don't you? Not as much as I love my cool handyman dad. You little brat. Jeez. Guess I've got to show this son of mine my good side every once in a while.
They're so funny. They're such a funny family.
They are. They're silly.
Not as much as I love my handyman dad.
My cool athletic handyman dad. Badler, go to San. Hold that ladder down tight. Make sure you're looking up, okay? My hand might slip and you'll have this hammer tumbling down on you. Don't worry. I'll catch it and smash your head in. After putting the hammer they'd gotten to smash the window in his pocket and cracking his knuckles, Rudolph started climbing.
I love it when Rudolph and Kyrie get to survive for an amount of time, for longer than 2 minutes.
They're so funny, is the thing. They gotta stop killing these two. They're so funny.
Well, Rudolph's gonna be okay.
Nah, he's died.
Oh, unfortunate.
He'll be fine. That guy could totally be in an action movie. Plus, sports are one of his strong points.
Wish you'd tell me how my skating prowess is supposed to help me climb ladders. Ice or roller? What do we think?
Or bored.
Not an answer I had considered.
Is he skateboarding? Is he...
Is he a
roller
skater boy?
Is he a skater boy? Did Asumu say, "See you later, boy," and then died?
I was gonna say, Kyrie absolutely did not say see you later, boy.
She was the one rocking out with him on MTV.
Oh, of course. Yes, you're right. It all makes sense. Rudolph on ice? The thing about it is that there's no answers that aren't funny.
What if he does all of them?
I'm gonna need to look at the... Wait. Hang on. Hang on. I'm going to... Not now. Later.
You need to report.
Oh,
to me.
fuck! I can maybe still look into this, but he does just say skato in katakana, which is not helpful to me. I was hoping he would use a verb that is less ambiguous. But maybe that's unambiguous in Japanese. We can look into this. We can solve this.
I don't want it to be solved. I want him to do all of them.
It's in the cat box now.
I'm just imagining him skateboarding in his stupid fucking suit, and City Escape is just playing in the background. He is in the level City Escape.
When we were in the city earlier, did we not pass a middle-aged man skateboarding down the sidewalk?
We did.
I just think that's so appropriate.
That was Rudolph.
That was him.
That's still Rudolph.
Yeah, it is. No, I just was trying to remember where I had left off.
I think he's referencing something, but I don't know what it is.
It's a movie reference. I can't remember what exactly the deal is.
Of course, he would reference a movie.
I can't remember. I was reading something recently from like an old like pop-up Umineko like exhibit thing that implied that Rudolph's art was referenced from I think Clint Eastwood. And then I believe Kinzo was referenced from Sean Connery.
What?
Which is crazy, but then I thought about it and I was like, I don't remember what it was, but it like implied some like old art of them had been like labeled as such. Like maybe before they had names.
Oh my god.
I don't this is like this comes from like probably a tweet about a blog post about an old exhibit. So several grains of salt. But yeah. I mean a bow are always in a big pinch or whatever.
Well, Matt managed to avoid dying, so there's nothing to worry about. More importantly, we're really lucky the shutters aren't down. Isn't that a common practice to lower the shutters to Father's study for the night?
Yes. Well, we're permitted to enter and exit. We open and close them in the morning and at night.
However, I think it was decided that such a thing was unnecessary for the time being, so it was left open.
Kinzo likes looking at the moon.
I see.
Not that he's seeing much of the moon this weekend, but...
Or any weekend anymore.
Well, I was talking about the rain, but I guess, yeah, because he's dead also. That, too.
Father will be pretty mad, won't he? If his son smashes his window and comes in when he's sleeping. That's, probably... Stop making them talk to each other!
Mean to you specifically.
It'd be wonderful if we didn't have to smash the window, don't you think?
Canon is Kyrie theory. They're wearing very similar color schemes. It makes you think. Both Shannon and Canon knew that Kinzo no longer existed in this world. Natsuhi had ordered... Inabara's a figure skater?! I'm stupid. I thought it was a movie reference. Or maybe... Oh, I think what it is... Maybe what it is that it is a combination reference to skater Ina Bauer and Jack Bauer, who is an action movie guy. I remember reading I remember reading something about that line being also an action movie reference. Ina Bauer's a skater. That checks out though, I believe. So he is, I guess that implies ice skating.
This is so beautiful to me.
Rudolph on ice.
Rudolph on ice. I think he does the other ones though as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if that's possible. I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna investigate. Natsuhi had ordered them to interfere as much as possible. But now that it had come to this, there was nothing the two of them could do. They had tried to interfere by pretending they didn't know about a ladder that could reach up to the third floor window, but because of Goda's showing off, that ladder had been found. Rudolph carefully climbed the ladder. He would reach the third floor window very soon. As he did this, Shannon and Cannon stared at him, looking uneasy. After this, what will happen next? To the two of them. To Madam. To the Master. Very soon, Rudolph will reach the window.
So, it's already the end for this room's barrier.
Sorry if I'm audibly a tiny bit hiccupy. I had a Moscow Mule.
The soldiers are scaling the ramparts, trying to reach the other side. The moment of surrender is truly right before our eyes. I am prepared to be erased at any moment.
We can't let that happen. You have to remain alive, even if it means crawling through the dirt. I'll think of what to do next. For now, escape from this place.
You may say that, but what can I do? Ava and the rest are still camped out in the hallway, and Rudolph is approaching the window. There's no way of retreat through the door or the window.
In that case, perhaps you could hide under the bed.
So I am not even permitted the chance to wait for the enemy's arrival on my throne.
You might have done it while you were still alive, but now that you're a ghost that Natsu and I brought to life. Ghosts should do what ghosts do best and hide under the bed or in a closet.
Will something like that really deceive their eyes? My.
Don't worry. I'll be with you. I'll let you escape the last moment.
It'll be dangerous for you. Even though you're a demon, you won't get away unscathed if you're burned by the magic-resisting toxin.
Don't worry about that. Anyways, I need things to get at least that bad before my heart starts pumping.
How comforting. I understand. I'll hide under the bed.
Milady, Rudolph will reach the window very soon.
Gop, I've changed my mind. I'll guard this place. Hide yourself with Ronaway. Likely ban a Vader. Fuck off.
Likely ban evader restricted. Got their ass. What did you say? Runaway does not make that face much. What did you say? You've got it backwards. Didn't we plan to leave this place to Gop and have you retreat, milady? He's got little eyelashes. Though Runaway should have been used to her fickleness, this surprised him for the first time in a long while. Beidou may have been a powerful queen, but she was also an important piece that mustn't be exposed to danger. Though she was strong, running to the front lines without any plan would not be a praiseworthy move.
What kind of whim is this? It's just a whim.
Just a normal whim.
I'm not so fond of boredom that I could simply sip tea while everyone leaves everything to you. I've just got the urge to jump into the struggle right away. She wants to hang out with Battler.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand. It is your game, after all. You can do as you wish. I'll carefully watch over the corpses of the first Twilight that I erased, making sure nothing happens to them. Sorry for stealing your time to shine.
Is this really acceptable, milady?
You should know I like showing off even more than my 3 meals a day. I've done nothing but gobble up Gop's turn. Don't worry about it.
Runaway and Gop both fell silent. The two of them had already noticed. Lady Berncastle, who used Furudo Erika as a piece, was a terrifying opponent. This fight would probably be terrifying as well. Beidou couldn't expose Gop, her friend, to this danger. Beidou bluffed and said that wasn't the case, but Runaway and Gop had already figured it out. Therefore, after confirming Beidou's resolve one last time and seeing that she was completely firm in her decision, they nodded in silence and accepted it.
I understand. I'll leave this place to you. I'm rooting for you. Take care. Yeah, please watch over my efforts at your heart's content. Contained.
Lady Berncastle will probably start trying to expose Kinzo's absence with a closed room argument. Fights in a closed room are normally Gop's area of expertise. Queens are commanders because... Is he deceased? Okay, yeah. Queens are commanders because they're best at fighting in wide open areas. This won't be an easy fight.
I'm fully aware of that. I currently serve Natsuhi. Watching Natsuhi's danger from above and letting Gop take care of it doesn't make sense to me.
Understood. I wish you luck in battle.
Be careful. If it becomes a complete closed room, we won't be able to come in and help you. I'll laugh at them a bit, and if things get bad, I'll grab Kinzo and run. It's easy. With the door and the window and the past and the future to choose from, there are plenty of places to run to. Of course, I won't let this become a closed room. Though you won't see us, we'll be cheering you on from very close by. Good luck. Sure.
Gop and Runaway became a swarm of gold butterflies and disappeared, and Kinzo melted into the darkness beneath the bed. Then, Beidou also became a swarm of gold butterflies and melted away inside the study. After that, all figures and signs of life had disappeared from the study, and had once more regained a silence as though no one had been there from the beginning. I'm so sorry, I'll be 2 seconds. I have to run to the bathroom. I hope you can forgive me. Okay, sorry. I'm back. Then, Rudolph's outline slipped into view from beyond the window's curtain. Dad! If you're there, answer. Dad! As he yelled, he hit the window. His foothold was so uncertain that just hitting the window felt life-threatening. But of course, this was Rudolph, the show-off. Deciding that he couldn't do anything stupid with so many people watching from below, he suppressed the fear from being so high up, and boldly knocked on the window. Come on, Grandfather. Can he hear?
I wonder. I hope he doesn't drop the hammer.
How many seconds have passed?
Ah,
It doesn't matter who said that, because it's the same boy.
he-
It's been 30 seconds since he knocked on the window.
So, he'll really smash it?
Careful, Rudolph, you're a bit top-heavy.
The master will be very mad.
Well, someone was kind enough to brag about how accepting that anger is her duty, so there's no need to worry. Rudolph-san! That's enough. Fuck him up.
Sure. Yeah, but Dad, you better not complain after I smash it.
He hit it several times, and eventually a fist-sized hole opened up in the glass. Because of his unstable footing, this took a lot of effort. Using the end of the hammer skillfully, he brushed aside the now fractured bits of glass and opened the hole further, stuck his hand through it, and unlocked the window. Then, after a hard struggle, Rudolph somehow managed to open the window, and his body slipped through into the study. After that, he flopped onto the floor, using his entire body to enjoy the relief of having a ground under him.
Dad, it's Rudolph. Answer me.
It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that Kinzo's study was a small villa he had created inside the mansion. A study, a library, a place to sleep, and a bathroom and a washroom. It was divided into multiple rooms. That's right. With all this at your fingertips, it wouldn't be hard to spend your days in this study without leaving at all. The bed was empty. There were marks on it that made it seem as though someone had slipped out, but there was no one in sight.
This happens a lot in ninja movies. Someone finds that the bed is still warm, so the occupant couldn't have gone far.
Rudolph tried placing his hand on the bed, but he couldn't feel any heat at all. Not only was there no heat, it felt completely ice cold. And the bed wasn't the only thing that was ice cold. The air inside the room, and even the presence about it, if that's the right word for it. Even that felt ice cold. To Rudolph, it felt as though Kinzo had slipped out of this room a long time ago.
However, it's been well cleaned, and has signs of having been lived in.
Wrinkles in the bed, the slight angle of the chair. Here and there were many marks that would doubtlessly have been cleaned or fixed up if someone had come in to make the beds.
As far as I can tell off the top of my head, Dad must have slipped out of bed several hours ago at the latest.
That would be the same general time period as the brutal murder case. Ina Bauer's wiki page: after withdrawing from the 1960 European Championships in Garmisch-Partenkirchen after the compulsory figures portion of the competition, Bauer retired from competition at her father's request. And I don't speak German and I can't find much more for some reason. Interesting! I wonder if she's a bit of a deep cut then. Which would also compound the fact of her potentially being chosen simply for having the last name Bauer. That is interesting. Guess we can't be sure Kinzo's absence and the crime are completely unrelated. For the time being, he leaned out the window, and told Kyrie and the others in the courtyard to come back up, since he was going to unlock the door. Then, he pushed the button on the study desk and released the door's auto-lock. There was a heavy clunking sound, and Natsuhi and the rest dashed in immediately.
Father! Good morning!
Sorry, but it isn't Dad. I'm the one who opened it.
Was Kinzo-san there?
Nope. Looks like someone slipped out of the bed, but you can't tell when. But you can't tell when that happened. These might be my two most different voices.
And Natsuhine-san was the last person to meet him, right? At around 11 o'clock last night? I wonder if that means he slipped out of the study sometime after that and went somewhere else.
That's... Well, we must consider his father's fickle nature. wasn't at all uncommon for him to suddenly wake up in the middle of the night, claiming to have had a revelation in a dream.
Natsuhi, you used the past tense. Natsuhi.
And walk around the mansion. Isn't that right, Dr. Nanjo? True. That's not. This has happened before.
There he is.
Anyway, he is a fickle person. Right, Kumasawa-san.
There's actually a moment in like episode 2 where Nanjo says was about Kinzo as well. I can't remember. I think when they're talking about the chapel and like why he had it built, Nanjo's like, Kinzo was, and it's like, hang on.
Oh, that's true. Perhaps they had a strange dream and slipped out of bed. That isn't uncommon at all, yes? Now where did he slip off to?
Normal place.
There's a good chance Father's been caught up in this crime.
See? And we should have checked to make sure Father was safe from the beginning, right?
She looks like a kicked puppy. Look at her. She was born in a wet cardboard box all alone. Look at this face.
She was. She's so sad.
We can't be sure he isn't in this room. Maybe the culprit tied him up and locked him in the closet or something like that. Good point. Let's search.
This is the head's precious study. You mustn't touch things without reason.
Ah, yeah, that's right. There's something I needed to tell you, culprit-san.
When Natsuhi heard this said right in front of her, her heart froze. But Erika had only just happened to be standing right in front of Natsuhi when she said it. She had directed her words to the room at large. She hadn't been speaking to Natsuhi in particular. Natsuhi turned her back on Erika, trying to prevent her faltering expression from being noticed.
Killer says what?
Huh?
I have a photographic memory. If you try to alter the crime scene by hiding some evidence, I'll know right away. Please don't slip up here and disappoint me. Any mystery where the whodunit is solved by a culprit slip-up or misspeak is only third-rate, don't you think?
I don't understand what you're saying, but try to refrain from cautious remarks. Father, are you there? Please answer me.
Natsuhi started walking around and calling out in a loud voice, refusing to let Erika say any more. There was a knock. Kirie and the others who had gone down to the courtyard had returned.
So, Father isn't here at all?
He might be tied up and shut away somewhere around here. We were just searching for him. I'm surprised he managed to shut himself away in a place like this for all that time.
Give it up, Nason. You can't change anything now.
Your beer bottle just exploded, oh shit!
Oh my god!
Godspeed.
I wonder what Madame plans to do.
Get paid back for all the lies she's told up until now. Shh! Let's leave the fate in God's hands.
Don't fuck this up for Milady. Or for the madam.
Yes.
That's true, Beto did that. The beer bottle, I mean.
Yeah.
She exploded it. Many people clambered around Kinzo's vast study, looking here and there. Inside the closet and in the bathtub. Even in the refrigerator and under the study desk. They looked everywhere, almost as though they were it in a game of hide and seek. However, not only were they unable to spot Kinzo, they couldn't even find a single suspicious mark.
It seems clear that Father isn't here. That's enough. Please don't disturb Father's precious study any further. That's right, that's right. There's nothing the Master hates more than having things moved around without his permission.
Father's nowhere to be found. Maybe he really was caught up in the crime.
Though we can't be sure of that.
Natsuki averted her gaze once more.
It's okay, Natsuhi. We truly have our backs against the wall.
Natsuki retreating to her mind palace.
Mm-hmm. I had planned to trick them by saying he'd probably gone out for a walk somewhere. However...
No one would believe that I'd get dressed up for a casual midnight stroll in a mansion where a murder has occurred and many people have been killed. Though I wouldn't put it past myself to do such a thing.
Come now, Kinzo. Be a good boy and hide under the bed. It's okay, Natsuhi.
Sure, he might be tied up somewhere in here, but if we found him by moving stuff around, he'd be pissed. He probably would, though.
He would be.
Wouldn't put it past Kinzo to get pissed about that.
Wouldn't put it past Kinzo. You may remain calm. It's possible to prove that someone exists, but you can't prove that someone doesn't exist.
It's a devil's proof.
In other words, the human world is one in which, regardless of whether something exists or not, you can make it so that they exist.
She sounds like she's coaxing a cat. Kinzo, hide under the
Kinzo,
bed.
hide under the bed. I have your demonic absinthe. And the shadows that make things exist are themselves the world of us witches, the world of demons.
I'm sorry, did Umineko just pass up an opportunity to use the phrase devil's proof?
Maybe it's the next line.
Fuck! It's peak. It's peak, I'm afraid.
Knew it! Someone get that. Someone get the playback cam.
I'm so sorry, Nuki. She'll never doubt you again.
Someone please fucking clip that at some point.
Say the line, Umineko.
You mean a devil's proof? Hit that applause.
Fuck. Oh, damn it. No, I'm sorry. I don't have it. Give me 2 seconds.
You fucked up. I'll reread the line.
I'm so sorry. Hang on. My computer restarted without my permission, and I have to reopen the application that manages it every time. It's really annoying. Okay. We're back.
You mean a devil's proof?
God. Didn't this happen to us once during Dual Destinies? That we were like, oh man, they passed up an opportunity. I think it was the rifling marks are the fingerprints of a gun. Mm-hmm. And we were like, I can't believe they didn't say that the rifling marks are like the fingerprints of a gun. And the next fucking line was that. Mm-hmm. This is always happening to us. My message sound is the red truth and my coworkers hate it. That's so beautiful.
Yes, so don't worry. The power of demons will most certainly protect you. If it could protect the honor of father and my husband, I wouldn't mind sacrificing this body of mine to demons. Your resolve is good. Don't be anxious. I most certainly will not let Kinzo be killed.
At that time, a dry sound suddenly rang out twice. Erica had clapped her hands, seeking everyone's attention. Though such an action should have been above a guest's place, for some reason, it already felt like a natural right of hers. After all, she was the detective.
I think that's enough. Ushirimiya Kinzo-san is nowhere to be found in this study.
Yeah, we've searched everywhere he could have been hiding. Dad's nowhere to be seen.
You will never be plural, Erica. Where is the mustache? True. Makes you think.
Furthermore, we found nothing that looks suspicious. Yes, we didn't find anything at all.
Erica said it again. They hadn't been able to discover anything.
In that case, we mustn't loiter around this room. Do you understand how angry Father would be if he learned so many people were looking through his study? Eva-san, you said you were prepared to take responsibility, didn't you? Are you prepared for him to break off relations with you for the rest of your life?
That's for Father to decide, not you. Silence, please. I'd like to lay out the situation. At 2300 last night, the last person to meet Kindo-san in this room was Natsuhi-san, right? Can anyone confirm that?
Confirm?
Yes, that's right. After all, the only one who claims that Natsuhi-san really did stop here at 2300 last night is Natsuhi-san herself.
I hear Father's motorcycle outside. Oh yeah, that probably did pick up, huh? That's what he did. He ran off and he rode his motorbike off into the sunset.
It wouldn't be a problem if Kinzo-san confirmed that Natsuhi-san really did come here last night. But that vital witness isn't here.
So you're saying alibis are the foundation of a mystery?
Yes, that's right. Alibis are important. Of course, they're almost useless when it comes to the actual theory making. But it's common courtesy to poke around those boxes.
Even though you didn't ask for alibis regarding last night's murder, you are doing it for grandfather's disappearance. You really are a fickle person.
Oh, don't worry. Have no fear that I will fully examine everyone's alibis regarding the murders of the first Twilight later. So can anyone confirm that Natsuhi-san visited here at 2300? If no one can, we'll be forced to doubt whether Natsuhi-san really was the last person to spot him.
Are you saying that I can't be trusted?
No. It's actually the opposite. I hope that you aren't the culprit. After all, that'd make this really boring. Only the worst third-rate mysteries have the most suspicious person as the culprit.
Natsuhi-san is suspicious? Wait a second. How can you say that?
He's right. Calling Madam suspicious is the height of discourtesy.
Be quiet. Dr. Nanjo, Goda, thank you. Haruka-san, do you have some sort of proof to justify such a rude outburst?
Yes. Though it's so simple that it annoys me. Sorry to bother you with this TV drama quality evidence, but if you don't mind...
Why don't you just let us hear it? When Battler glared at her, a cold expression rose to Erica's face for an instant. But it was only for an instant. After smiling peacefully and gazing around at everyone, she started to talk. She looked like the main character in a play, who had come out onto the stage, bathed in a spotlight.
It's about this morning. Please remember the time after the murders occurred, during the big uproar that followed. We wanted to tell Kinzo-san about the crime, but he wouldn't come out, no matter how many times we called him on the telephone. Remember that time?
Anyway, isn't it bad that we can't get in contact with them? The worst case, Father might not even know there's been a crime, right? Well, I wonder.
Keenly noticing that people were starting to doubt Kinzo's existence, Kanan mumbled those words.
Who was the last person to meet Father? And when? It was me! Last night. Up until the time of the uproar from when Battler found the gold. I was in Father's study giving the daily report.
So at around 2300 last night.
Erica chuckled significantly. God, I bet episode 5 stage play goes crazy. I've heard the reports. I haven't seen it myself. But I've heard it goes nuts. I really am excited to get
I've
to
only
see
watched the first stage play, and it's
We got
of
to watch
everything
the
to me.
others. I've seen like bits and pieces of all the rest of them. And that's very... You have the...
Oh?
Contact me.
Please. Please? Please. Please. And what is your point? Ridiculous.
I think Kirie-san probably did that intentionally. Am I right?
What do you mean by that?
I didn't see your line.
You read that correctly.
Thank fucking God. I hope someone might fall for it.
I see. Thanks, Kirie-san. Actually, I was planning to say the same thing if you didn't. I was gonna say that too, it wasn't that smart.
You just beat me to it.
Ah, fuck.
Is who saw the master last really that important?
Yes. If we take the circumstances into account, then in response to the question, who met him last, it was very odd for Natsuhi-san to instantly answer, me.
Why? Madam told the truth, without hiding anything.
Be quiet. Why do you think it was odd?
Why are you so sure that no one else met Kinzo-san after 2300?
Well, that's because I watched as he went to bed. It's only natural to assume that he would then sleep until morning and not meet with anyone.
Considering the circumstances, it was easy to suspect the last person to spot him of having some kind of involvement with this case. A normal person in Natsuhi-san's position wouldn't say, I was the last person to meet him. I met him at 2300. Right, Kirie-san?
Yes, that's correct. A normal person would say, I met him at 2300. However, I'm not sure I was the last person to meet him. Something like that.
Well, Natsuhi's not a normal person, to be fair.
Good.
Also, this feels like 999. They would only say one thing. You don't have his face.
You don't have his face.
Good. Claiming to be the last witness is usually quite difficult. That is, unless you know something that makes you sure there were no other witnesses after you. In third-rate mysteries, the last one to spot the victim is often the culprit. They killed the victim themselves, so they knew no one else could have met the culprit later on. Is how the argument goes.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Couldn't that be nothing more than a minor misspeak? It's not important enough to be picked out of the blue and focused on.
Natsuhi had a thought process normal people didn't have.
Yes, that's nothing more than nitpicking. Isn't it a little too early to suspect Natsui-san because of a little slip of the tongue like that?
Furthermore, you said she'd need a reason to be sure no one else spotted the master. But of course she had such a reason. She left the room after seeing the master go to bed. Following common sense, it's perfectly natural to assume that he probably wouldn't meet anyone else until the next morning.
You know what? The text skipping kind of worked for that. I believe that Goto would hesitate.
No. That isn't natural at all. After all, Natsuhi-san, Dr. Nanjo and Natsui-san, Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san all made this claim a short while ago. Please, try to remember. And Natsui-san was the last person to meet him, right? At around 11 o'clock last night. I wonder if that means he slipped out of the study sometime after that and went somewhere else.
We must consider father's fickle nature. Was it at all uncommon for him to suddenly wake up in the middle of the night claiming to have had a revelation in a dream? And walk around the mansion? I don't want to have to repeat all this shit again.
that's fair.
This just
Come
happened.
on. Episode 5 is not unlike Ace Attorney. In many ways, including this one.
Yeah, we definitely do have testimony. But it wasn't at all uncommon for Grandfather to suddenly slip out of bed late at night.
Good. Your memory's not bad, Butler-san. In other words, it's common knowledge to those in the Oshinomiya head house, Natsui-san included, that Kinzo-san might wake up in the middle of any given night on a whim and wander around. On top of that, they are aware that this happens quite often. Isn't that odd?
Sorry, it makes the loudest noise in the world. I have these coasters, and I have a gigantic jar of water that I drink from on stream, and it's got condensation that makes the coaster stick to it, and then when it falls on the desk, it makes a horrible noise. How could I forget Natsuhi was unanimously voted normalist Umineko character? I mean, you know, she's responding to a lot of her circumstances rationally, it's just that her circumstances
Are.
what they are.
If you knew Father often wanders around at night, there's no way you could be certain that he'd stay in his bed until morning. Right?
It really is. Like a third-rate mystery. You know that thing they do in the last 5 minutes where the culprit asks, "When did you first realize it was me?" And the detective answers,
Seriously? That's why I feel let down. If it turns out Natsui-san really is the culprit, this will be worse than a TV mystery. That's why I want to clear away the suspicions surrounding Natsui-san as soon as I can. I want to make sure this mystery isn't third-rate before I do anything else.
There's no need to get anxious, Natsuhi. This is a classic word game used by detective wannabes. What exactly is her point? How could she possibly corner you at this accusation alone? In the court of hell, all the demon jurors will declare you innocent. So calm down and don't get flustered.
"It may be true that I'm not so he looks suspicious when you say it like that. Still, it sounds like you're just nitpicking to me."
But it is suspicious. Isn't this more than enough reason to suspect that Natsuhine-san's hiding something?
Of all the unfair accusations, how cowardly of you, Ava-san. You're the sole person who could confirm that I was really here at 2300, Ken, aren't you?
Is this true, Ava-san? Oh, did that happen? I'm sorry. At the time, I was losing my head because of the recently discovered gold, so I forgot all about bumping into Natsuhine-san until just a second ago. So, Ava-san, you can confirm that Natsui-san was a witness at 2300? Yes, unfortunately. I'm able to acknowledge that one part of Natsuhine-san's story, but only that she came out of this room.
What are you implying?
Oh, I'll tell you. In fact, I've wanted to say this for a long time now. I do realize it's improper to bring this up in the middle of such a tragic murder case, but the timing now is just too perfect. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Natsuhine-san.
The servants gulped and held their breaths. It seemed that they hadn't been able to hide it after all.
What if she just brought up something completely different?
Yeah. In the middle of this heavy silence, Ava fingered her trump card, and Natsuhi tried to act calm. Both space and time grew heavy as lead, and swallowed up everything.
Just when did Kinzo-san disappear, I wonder?
Erika's words, spoken almost casually, tore that atmosphere to pieces like shattering glass.
Simply put, we haven't met him once at the family conferences this year or last.
That's right! We've suspected it since last year! Seeing how my son and the others have just been killed, this may not be the time or place to press you on it. There's a chance that this has something to do with the case, so pressing you is just what we'll do.
Fingered, we are reaching new levels of Ace Attorney.
possible that you have a motive for hiding Father's death. We have reason to suspect that you're embezzling his assets.
If Father were to die, an investigation would be conducted for the distribution of the assets, and your embezzlement would be exposed. That's why you hid the fact that Father's already dead. I see. That's more than enough for the why done it. This keeps getting more and more third rate. Ah, boring.
I don't know what you're talking about! You say I'm hiding the head's death? I most certainly won't forgive such a reckless accusation!
It's the worst part of this is, like, in the first episode, Ava seemed like unstoppable force, and then in episode 5, she seems like I would be mean and she would cry. It's very interesting that she has this, like, very strong facade that I think is also very breakable if you know, like, exactly where to hit it, is the thing about Ava. She's a bit of a glass cannon in terms of, like, very good attack, very poor defense if you know her weak spots. Erica reads the summaries of mystery books on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Also true.
That's right! In addition to Madam, the other servants take care of the master on a daily basis, and they see him all the time. Genji-san, Shannon-san, and Kanon-kun. Even Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa-san meet with him often. Perhaps because he doesn't trust me, I haven't seen him even once since last year, but...
Coda.
Be quiet, Coda!
My
I'm
apologies.
just imagining her just pinching the bridge of her nose.
Oh, yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
She's like, this can't be happening.
Aren't all of the witnesses besides Natsui-san servants employed by her? So you use money to make them follow your story. Ah, man, this is really third rate. Pitiful, pitiful. I'm disappointed, Natsui-san. So I guess I'll have to finish this now.
Finish what?
Ushiromiya, Kinzo-san.
What is it? Uninvited guest.
You don't exist, do you? You're a ghost whose death was concealed by those humans who didn't want it known because of the inheritance problem. Ghosts are supposed to quickly pass on to the next world. Even though this is the first time we've met, I've yet to give you a proper greeting. My apologies. Good day. Pleased to meet you. And goodbye.
She's like, she knows how to project herself. God damn, she worked so hard to be the heiress of the Yoshinomiyas. But you shake any block she builds and she folds. Yeah! She's very strong and yet very weak. Ava's a very paradoxical character like that. Death from Stupefaction moment. Oh, this is the remix of Stupefaction, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So close to Erica's face that you could barely have wedged a sheet of paper between them. Beato's pipe came to a sudden stop.
And good day to you, too. I'm the Yoshimiya family alchemist, Beatrice the Golden. I'll be your opponent in this fight from here on out.
Glad to meet you. I'm the detective of this game, Furudo Erika. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And now, goodbye.
So you're Lady Buncastel's next piece after Anjay. I'm afraid I didn't get to fight with her to my satisfaction in the end. I'm glad I'll be able to lock horns with you this time, Lady Buncastel's piece.
My master is almighty, omnipotent. A fool like you couldn't even begin to compare with her. I accept your challenge.
You really are calm. Even though a witch has appeared before you and is about to fight with magic and fantasy, If you were better, you'd be lying on the ground screaming that this can't possibly be a mystery anymore.
Yeah, even in the mystery genre, parallel universes like this have gotten popular lately. You know about pure reasoning space and all that.
Ayatsuji Yukito doesn't make his debut until next year.
I'm taking another image from my reading list.
I love it. This is Beatrice being like, hey,
Hey, that's an anachronism.
that's an anachronism. Cut that out.
You sure are picky for a witch.
Like, these motherfuckers don't read Higurashi.
You think you're on the same level as a witch? Don't be so full of yourself, you mere human.
When Beato snapped her finger, something bounced around the room at terrifying speeds. It was a stake of the witch. Beato's like, spoilers!
Hey! You can't make that reference yet. You can't make that reference yet, Detective Baby.
A witch's wedge that contained the power of the blue truth within it. Of course, a mere human like Erica couldn't follow that terrible speed with her eyes. Erica understood this, so she didn't attempt to look every which way, stupidly trying to spot it.
Eat this, fool!
With a terrible sound, Lucifer's blue stake buried itself into Erica's right collarbone. It pierced all the way through her back. Lucifer spun and rebounded, landed in front of Beato, and vanished with a shrill laugh. Erica wasn't blown back, but she had been run through by the blue wedge.
So, this is that so-called blue truth. Well then, let me hear your views.
You cannot deny the possibility that Natsuhi met with Kinzo at 2300. During the 6 hours or more before you pushed your way into the study, Kinzo had many chances to escape from it.
Fuck is she gonna do with the blue truth? Erica can't use the red.
Because of this, you can't state decisively that Kinzo doesn't exist.
Beato announced that with an expression worthy of her title as a witch. Erica was silent. Was she too shocked to speak? There was no anguish in her expression. She was just quietly listening to Beato's blue truth. Now, judging by her disdainful expression, it's probably more appropriate to say that Beato's words went in one ear and out the other.
Good. Let's start with the classic moves. By the way, this thing really has stuck good. I can't take it out.
She tried pulling from the front and the back of the blue wedge that pierced her, but it didn't budge an inch. However, her indifferent, relaxed expression didn't budge an inch either.
She was born without pain.
Yeah.
You can't take it out. The blue truth can only be defeated by the red truth. For one such as yourself, a guest who came to this island at most a day ago. There is no truth that can possibly be known. That means there exists no red that you can use. In other words, this is checkmate.
I see. So that's what kind of space this is. In that case, I'll need a piece suitable for fighting a witch. I'm the detective. My role is to take on the human culprit. You are a witch. And there does exist a fitting piece to use against witches and demons. Let me introduce you. Miss Dlanor. It looks like it's your turn.
Dlanor!
Hell yeah.
I thought so. I was certain you'd bring that piece in sooner or later.
Hell yeah.
The 10 wedges with which to hunt witches. The Archbishop of Witch Hunting, Dlanor.
Bring her in. Bring in my girl.
There's no more fitting piece in a battle against demons. I have my double Erica and the greatest natural enemy of witches, Dlanor. I've now taken control of the 7th rank with my 2 rooks. Let me show you Lambda Delta, and you too, Beatrice. Now you'll see how useless your struggling is.
Show me her! Show me her!
Yes! And now?
Let's fucking go. The reveal. And guess what? Part 2 of the remix, Grace made new art too.
Yeah! Let's fucking go!
We've never been more back. The air shone brightly, and the piece Erica had guided there showed its form. The form resembled a clergy member, perfectly suited for confronting an evil witch. Dlanor's appearance does warrant applause.
Woo! It's a pleasure to meet you. Delanor A. Knox is my name.
And I do believe we just got a little tip. Dlanor A. Knox, a member of Eiserne Jungfrau, the 7th District Repentance Enforcement Agency of the Great Court of Heaven, a head inquisitor of heresy, and a first-class archbishop. She is commonly known as Dlanor of the Ten Wedges or Death Sentence Dlanor. The name Death Sentence comes from the fact that, though inquisitors of heresy normally judge their targets to see whether they deserve the death penalty or not, Head Inquisitor Dlanor is only dispatched after a case has been vigorously inspected by the Great Court. Therefore, the very act of dispatching her is equivalent to a sentence of death. Her father was a legendary inquisitor of heresy, but he broke the rules and was executed. She was the one who performed his interrogation and execution. Since that time, she has stopped growing, and both her body and mind remain eternally those of a young maiden. It is whispered that her heart also died at that moment, but she does not see it that way. Her primary weapons are the red key and the blue key, which take the form of a long sword and a short sword. Erica finally has the Poirot mustache. Real. Dlanor is the character of all time because every iteration of her is like, yup, that's Dlanor. God. They don't give her likes and dislikes. She likes to play and draw. Consider that. Even though this space was like a bomb just waiting to go off, she introduced herself in a neat and frank manner. Her out-of-place appearance, completely different from those of the demons and witches, felt blatantly odd and had a kind of severity to it.
This is the first time I've met you, but I've heard all the rumors. So, this doesn't truly feel like a first meeting. The same goes for me, Miss Beatrice. The detailed materials whatever you just said.
Eiserne Jungfrau.
That has on you are summarized in 600 pages.
It's German for Iron
Collect
Maidens.
my pages, witch.
I do like that the German word for maiden is literally just young woman. It's just Jungfrau.
Jungfrau.
Checks out.
I always read such reports, so this doesn't feel like the first meeting to me either. The Secretary of Hell could summarize those 600 pages into 6 letters. Allow me to ask.
She's like, I know this isn't going to be funny.
Danger.
God, Beto, you're so lame.
Danger is my middle name.
That is the least cool thing you've ever
Beatrice
said.
Danger Ushidamiya.
Beatrice the Golden, you are so lame. I love you.
A fitting summary. When I return, I will summarize the materials on you using only 2 letters more out of respect.
Executed.
Or no, sorry, she spelled it.
EXECUTED.
Stop stealing my thunder. So now I'm CUTE now. You're too polite, my guest. Then let us continue, Miss Beatrice.
I do not get paid enough to laugh at your jokes.
I, Delanor, the head inquisitor of heresy, do humbly accept my role as your opponent. My first move is over. If you can't remove the blue wedge from that Ferudo Erica over there, then you might as well totter back up to heaven and get back to your usual boring job of stamping forms.
Please do something about this wedge thing. It looks like Beatrice-san thinks she's already achieved checkmate with this alone.
After making a show of tapping her finger on the blue wedge that pierced her, Erica shrugged as though taunting Beatrice.
Beatrice. Oh yeah, Natsu's just been watching this in her brain the whole time.
What the fuck? I didn't imagine this one.
It's okay, I'm just toying with her a bit. After all, if things get bad, I can grab Kinzo and run out of here whenever I want. I can leave this room at any time and go anywhere. That is useless. Now that you've met up with me, this is your demise.
Hell yeah.
Escape will not be permitted. None can escape.
I'm hell yeah-ing this sprite because I love this fucking face
It's
she
really
makes.
good.
True, we can't deny that it'd be possible for Father to suddenly wake up and go somewhere. But you know what? I can say for sure that such a thing couldn't have happened. You know why?
How could I know? Are you trying to say you stood outside this door all night watching to make sure the head didn't take a step outside?
Yes, someone was watching.
Oh, scary eyes!
This kid right here.
Please, allow me to speak. Let it be known that the entering or exiting out through this door is impossible. The palace guards are ordered to blockade the study door.
The doors to heaven opened with a strong, unrelenting radiance like the sun's, announcing the arrival of Dlanor's underlings. Those words were clad in the red truth and cut off the witch's method of escape.
Chester 410 right here.
Chester 45 right here! It has been some time, Great Lady Beatrice. We were dispatched in accordance with Alliance Agreement number 1516 and a request from the Great Court of Heaven. We apologize for the rudeness that is to follow.
We formed a precision blockade on the study door, yeah? I think it's best you stay away from it, yeah?
Please, allow me to speak. I say again, from last night at 2300 until the present time, the study door was not opened even once.
I love this debate taking place on, like, multiple planes at once. It's really cool.
What is that scrap of paper?
I like Ava referring to a fucking receipt as this kid just so they could bait and switch you into thinking she personally summoned whoever the fuck from the High Court of Heaven.
Yeah.
It's a completely ordinary receipt. But even so, this mere scrap of paper proves that you lied.
Last night when you came out of the study, Ava saw a chance and wedged a receipt into the crack of the study door. It fell down just now when Rudolph couldn't open the door for us.
Know what that means? In other words, from 2300 last night until now, Father couldn't possibly have opened this door.
What'd you say?
Rudolph, the window was locked, right?
Yeah, that's why I smashed the glass.
The other windows are all locked as well. They're built so that you can't lock them from the outside. Allow me to speak. Know that the windows were all locked. Palace guards blockade all of the windows. By the name of Isa Jungfrau, I give the palace guards permission to make use of this forbidden weapons.
I never remember what 00 sounded like. Understood. Entire force, permission granted for use of forbidden weapon, red warhead. Begin transmitting activation code.
Yeah? The password doesn't work, yeah?
410, turn caps lock off and try again!
I love the Chester sisters. I miss them so much.
They're so good. Chester Squad, precision blockade for study door and all windows complete. We will warn the Great Lady Beatrice that if anything is caught passing through these physically, conceptually, or by any other method, we will shoot without warning. This is 4-5, yeah?
I just love how so much of this is just absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
They're just saying words at this point.
Data link from Archangel Satellite 4. What are you talking about?
What the fuck does that mean, girl?
We all know exactly what that refers to.
Yeah, we all know everything about the palace guards, the warheads.
Yeah.
the court of heaven.
Archangel Satellite 4 is our favorite Archangel satellite.
Yeah, I'm always talking about Archangel Satellite 4.
It's the best one. A homing format verdict model conceptual guidance. Bullshit, Umineko would never.
And on top of that, we've got red warheads now.
I mean, red warheads are like, you get the concept.
Yeah, I know what red means.
Yeah. That's the thing, they say so much bullshit, but they give you, like, exactly enough information to be like, I understand the implications of this, even though this is so clearly made up bullshit.
Yeah.
Impossible to shoot down, impossible to avoid, impossible to survive when hit. It smashed even Lady Beatrice into little bits. Yeah.
The Siester Squad had laid down a pinpoint blockade over the door and all the windows. Escape would no longer be permitted through any of these.
My. I should be doing the welcoming, but it seems I'm the one being welcomed. I'm grateful for the courtesy calls, and you even brought the Siesta Sisters. Please allow me to inform you that your paths of retreat have been cut off.
I love her design so much. She's such a cutie pie.
She has zero personality, though.
But she's a cutie pie,
She's
so
a
it's
cutie
okay.
Commander Delano, let us now remove the sin and purify. You've done well, Miss Beatrice. I've had your paths of retreat terminated. You cannot leave through the door, nor can you leave through the windows. Therefore, escape will now be prohibited. You think you've shut me in with this alone.
I like that it makes a gun cocking sound effect every time Blanar, like, blinks.
I'm assuming that she's moving anything at all with her clunky ass arm.
Yeah,
Gonna create a lot of fucking noise.
Her huge gauntlet, yeah. The Inquisitor of Heresy in Heaven and her subordinates surrounded the witch. The subordinates used a powerful barrier to cut off Beato's methods of escape, reaching levels of 2 of them heretofore only achieved by Tuesday. It's 2 of them Tuesday, Friday. Demons tend to resist capture, and as a result, they sometimes escape. However, angels counter by blocking off passages of escape. This is an Angel's Chess reference!
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Oh my god!
I don't know what that means.
There is a game, it's a hypothetical game, called Angel's Chess, where there's only 2 players, an angel and a demon. And it takes place on a I think it takes place on like a theoretically infinite chessboard, or at least there's a version of it that takes place on a theoretically infinite chessboard. But Angel's Chess, the 2 players, angel and demon, they each have like 1 piece, and there's specific rules of movement for each of them. But the goal is to, I think it's like, the demon, like when they've been to a space, they can't like repeat spaces or something. And it's the goal of the angel to like block their paths of movement. You can look this up, somebody will explain it better than me. But this is the role. Demons resist capture, trying to get by the angel, and the angels try to stop them. That's the mechanics of Angel's Chess. I just got that. That's really clever. Hang on, let me Google this to make sure I'm not just making shit up. I think it's called Angel's Chess. Yeah, Angel Chess. It's like better known. It's like a game theory, not the YouTube channel. The actual.
Fuck! I'm gonna have to read about it then
field.
because I love game theories.
But yeah, basically, there's like rules for the angel and the devil, and they have to like I think it's like I don't know, I think it's like theoretically, the devil, like, always has the advantage, like, always would win, and so the theory is, like, could a good enough angel still somehow win? It's an interesting, but that's really clever, and I only just got that now, that's really cool. Anyway.
The angel, except the angel side gets 6 pieces.
Yeah. However, angels counter by blocking off passages of escape, allowing them to eradicate their targets without fail.
In other words, this study was a perfect closed room from the time Natsuhime-san claims she said goodnight to the time Rudolph opened the door.
In that case, Father would have to be here. But there's not even a trace of him. Come on, what the hell's going on? I keep telling you to calm down. The thought that I, Beatrice, can be shut in just because the doors and windows are closed is simply laughable. Kinzo is just playing around, but it seems our guest has no such intentions. Let's withdraw before we lose our chance.
Yes, I would not regret losing this life of mine, but for Natsuhi's sake, I cannot die yet.
Beato waved her pipe, and the air was split vertically. Then, I love using the swirl effect on the swirl background, that was great. Then a pitch-black gate appeared there and slowly opened. It was a warp portal, the same as the pitch-black holes that Gop used.
I believe this is written on my files. An elusive phantom can appear from anywhere and disappear to anywhere. As long as Kinzo has me, it'll be impossible to capture him.
The pitch-black gate opened. That gate led from everywhere and to nowhere. Both Beato and Kinzo would be sent to a place where no one could catch them. A place where no one could set foot in, much less chase after them.
This is the study of the Ashimiya family head. It's also the room that Father helped design personally.
Hey, the Angel's chest was made by Conway, like the Conway's Game of Life guy?
Wait, what?
I can't I used to watch a lot of, like, YouTube videos about, like, game theory problems and stuff like that, and Conway's Game of Life is it's a thing.
Is it different from the other Game of Life?
Like, it is distinct from the board game, yes. It's a game where it's black and white pixels on a screen, and they have, like, behaviors that affect the pixels around them based on various things, and so you make, like, shapes and they can do different stuff. It's interesting.
Would it really be so strange if he had some way to get outside without using the door?
Yes, that's correct. There would be nothing strange about the Master having a hidden door.
A hidden door? And where would that be?
It's a hidden door, so I wouldn't know. There are several devices and hidden doors in this mansion that only Father knows of. No one has seen them directly, but everyone in this mansion knows about them vaguely, correct?
Yeah.
It's true that there have always been rumors about hidden passages only the Master knows of. It's true that Kinzo-san would probably like devices such as that. And they are hidden doors after all. No matter how much people are such as ourselves might search, it's only natural that we won't find them.
It was only natural.
Only natural. I see. So it's a devil's proof.
Devil's proof mentioned.
You're saying we can't deny the possibility that a hidden door exists in this room.
That's nonsense, a farce! Even considering that your lie about concealing Father's death is about to be revealed, how dare you?
That's right, just where in the study is there a hidden door? Try and prove that it exists. Proof is unnecessary. It's a devil's proof. It's impossible to find a hidden door, and therefore impossible to disprove that it exists.
The Serpent Queen is something I'm gonna have to look up because I've not heard of that story before.
Ooh. Therefore, no one can deny the possibility that Kinzo escaped from the study through a hidden door. Sorry.
The face of hers is so funny.
I loved Lenore.
She rocks.
I will not allow a hidden door to exist in this room.
Beato's blue wedge, which had been fired off as a farewell gift, was crushed with a flash of Glanor's longsword, and the pitch-black gate was crushed as well. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna take a picture of that name and investigate. Look further into it.
Tell me more about it later.
Yeah. So many photos on my phone of just titles of things now. And it wasn't just crushed visibly and physically. The warp portal conceptualizing hidden doors would remain destroyed from that point onward.
Why could someone like you, who is neither the owner of the study nor the game master, use the red truth? What was that? What do you mean you will not allow hidden doors to exist?
It's because this is the mystery genre. Nox is third. It is forbidden for hidden passages to exist. Hidden doors mustn't exist for the mystery genre. Sorry about that.
In this world, there are no gods except our god, and no hidden doors exist. They must not exist, and we won't let them exist.
I think it's really funny that they changed the Nox rule very slightly on this, because Nox does allow you one.
You get one.
You get one free hidden passage.
Well, I guess technically we've already seen their one allotted hidden passage.
I guess that's true.
You've already hit your quota.
Yeah.
They're blasphemy against our god. Here's my god. It says no hidden passages. That's one of the 10 commandments.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Enough pride in you to shock a witch. So it's painful to watch, that's actually pleasurable.
That's an interesting second reason for them to be angels now that I think about it, is that the Nox's 10 commandments taken hyper literally.
Mm-hmm.
They're actual 10 commandments.
I mean, yeah, that's probably...
Yeah. Yeah, no.
That might be the reason why Rikishi went with the religious tone for them.
Probably, yeah.
Here it is, the 10 wedges to pierce witches. Just like usual, it's the kind of irrational argument I just love to hear.
What a fool. The devil's proof might have been vague enough to let you escape from everything until now. But now that you're up against Lanor, that move won't work anymore, Beatrice.
New sound effect.
Why is it wet?
As I thought, you're no different from any witch after all. I'm disappointed.
Beto.
God, he has never said that before.
Yeah.
That was
what the
weird in
shit?
his voice.
Beto, it seems this isn't an opponent we'll be able to escape from easily after all.
Please do entertain me, Beatrice-san. You should at least serve some tea for your guests. It doesn't even matter if it's third rate. Come on, please use the blue truth and tell me how Kinzo-san escaped from the closed room study.
Very well.
Well, it's Natsuhi's mind Kinzo. So he's weird. He's a weird one.
Mm-hmm. Make sure you don't cry.
Banger alert.
It is possible that after slipping out the door, Kinzo noticed the trick with the receipt and correctly returned it to its original place. Denial of that with the red has already been finished. After 2300, the door of the study was not opened even once. Kinzo might have been a marvelous magician and inventor, right? He might have invented a drug that turned his body into mist and slipped out through the keyhole. No such drug exists. There must not exist. Or maybe he invented a teleport device, right? That possibility is undeniable because of the devil's proof.
The devil's proof.
Such a machine does not exist.
Pero small bombs moment. Literally.
I will not allow it to exist. Oh, so you can examine every drug in the world. You can deny the existence of unknown scientific devices. There's no way you can. It's the devil's proof. You cannot deny that they might exist. I will repeat. By the name of God, I will not let such a drug or machine exist. I will not allow them to exist for all eternity. Not even in the future! So you can think you can even deny possibilities in the future of the human race?
It's Nox's fourth. It is forbidden for unknown drugs or hard to understand scientific devices to be used.
Progression of humanity as well as techniques and knowledge that be obtainable in the future are decided by our God. And denial of their existence has been proclaimed for eternity. Therefore, I will not allow such technique to exist for all eternity. It is not permitted.
Beato and Dlanor had supposedly just gone through a massive exchange of red and blue. However, not only did Dlanor not take any damage, she also showed no signs of fatigue. I love when the red is statements, is I statements like I keep my promises or I will not let that exist. Yeah! It's really fun.
Or you are incompetent.
You are incompetent, of course.
A beloved.
There's a couple moments where Beatrice commands Battler in red, and I always found that interesting. There's the one time where she like tells him to kneel or something, and it's like, well, what does that mean? Does that mean he's gotta? Beato might have been a fearsome witch, but blood flowed through her veins, and she did breathe. She felt both pain and fatigue. But Dlanor was like a doll made of marble. She felt no fatigue, no pain, no hesitation. Even if Beato's sharp wedges had aimed right for Dlanor's eyes, she wouldn't have shut them. In fact, it's doubtful that she ever blinks in the first place.
She blinks when it's funny.
Yeah.
Beatrice, hang in there! Well, I'd already heard the rumors, but our compatibility really is awful. To think that dreams, hopes, and even future possibilities would be forbidden. The pride of the gods is overwhelming.
I like that that's how she's putting it. She's like hell-bent on a weird device. And she's like, they hate hopes and dreams. They hate fun and whimsy.
They hate toys!
They won't even let me play toys, Natsuhi.
I expect no less from the witch hunter executioner.
There's a post that I'm obsessed with recently where somebody's like, just finished the first episode of Umineko, and Battler is hopelessly dependent on the concept of a weird device. And that's such a funny observation to me. And just the phrase "hopelessly dependent on the concept of a weird device."
Oh, there's a post that I'd have to find it again.
Uh-huh.
That is a fucking like metal ingot.
Of course, it goes without saying that I'm hopelessly dependent on the ingot.
Of
I know
course.
it well.
Yeah.
I think I've tagged it as Rosa before.
I have it saved because it's also my one Pathfinder character who's just been carrying around like a large chunk of metal with them everywhere they go.
Hopelessly dependent on the ingot.
Literally.
Of course it goes
hopefully
without
dependent on Of course it goes without saying. It seems we'll never be able to enjoy playing toys together.
Even the strikes that had made Battler surrender over and over had absolutely no effect on Dlanor. Adrian plays 2E, right? Pathfinder?
Yep, I played Pathfinder 2E. I've been playing it for, I think, like 4
Couple years,
years
yeah.
now.
Also, this narration is Beato, it turns out.
Fuck. Well, I more or less knew that coming, but to think I'd be repelled so easily.
Quite a formidable opponent.
Oh my, so even the great goldsmith has gotten old and decrepit. Hearing those words come out of your mouth is rare. It's seeing two comets in the night sky.
I'm not decrepit, I'm already dead.
But Pathfinder 2E and the remaster are really fun and good, and I like them. If you ever want to talk about Pathfinder 2E, please message me. I need more people to talk about my toys with. That's true.
Funniest Battler part to me is when he goes on a game board, no, canon didn't do this, and meta Battler going, I swear to God, Beto, I don't know where that came from. Yeah.
Was that episode 2?
I don't even remember.
That feels
either.
like episode 2.
It does sound like episode 2 Battler. He was real dumb in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Love and peace. Beidou experienced something she'd only rarely felt during her entire life. It was probably what we'd call hardship. I think it's brave to assert that Beidou has not experienced much hardship, but okie dokie.
T.
I guess Natsuhi's mind Beidou.
Mm-hmm.
Beidou quietly brushed aside Natsuhi's hand that tried to comfort her, and she regained her posture again, showing off her witch's pride and her continued readiness to fight.
Is that all? There was no need for me to come here. I'm disappointed. I'm not done yet. I was just testing a few moves just now. I merely wish to measure your abilities. How foolish. Know your place, Golden Witch.
Lady Beatrice... Beidou's expression became tense once again. No longer was there any trace of mischief. The mood changed.
The time for playing is over. Here I go. In that case, I shall acknowledge that Kinzo did not enter or leave the study. Why don't I accept your closed room? Let it be known that Beatrice has changed her pattern of attack.
Beatrice, who had until then thoroughly resisted the idea that a closed room existed, did an about-face. She proclaimed that she accepted their proposition. Of course, that didn't mean she'd surrendered. This was a new attack of Beidou's. Delanor noticed this and readied herself.
What's going on? Why did Lady Beatrice acknowledge the closed room when she's trying to destroy it, yeah?
This is a banger. She's probably trying to claim that Kinzo existed outside of this room. Confirmation that the Great Lady Beatrice's warp portal has reactivated.
Natsuhi claims you have talked with Kinzo in the study, but she never said that she spoke with him face to face. Therefore, if Kinzo was in a location other than the study, there is no contradiction as long as they held a conversation.
After bouncing at an erratic angle, the witch's stake pierced the top of Delanor's foot.
You sure are slow. Top of the foot, all mine.
Natsuhi used the internal phone line in the study to speak with Kinzo, who was in another place. There'd be nothing strange if Kinzo, who hates the relatives, predicted that they'd entered his study and left to go elsewhere. He might have gone to the hidden mansion, Kuadorian.
Asmodeus' stake, which contained the power of Beidou's blue truth and pierced Delanor's foot, changed into a blue wedge. I can't even hate her if I understand. That's what me being of pure heart does to you. I mean, like, Erica is a very interesting, like, as much as it's very funny to dunk on her and make her go in the desert and starve her and all that, like, the thing about Erica is that she is also, like, the meta circumstances of her being, like, a piece is something I would say she is reacting rationally to. Her behavior is insane in the context of the game board, but that's because she knows that it's a game board. This is not real life to her. Which I think is, like, it makes her behavior, like, very intriguing, and I don't know, I find she is a super interesting character, and, like, as I hate her because I love her so much, is the thing about it.
She's made to be hated, so if you hate her, you're enjoying her correctly, is the thing.
I find her, she's like probably one of my favorite characters. Asmodeus' stake, which contained the power of Beidou's blue truth and pierced Delanor's foot, changed into a blue wedge.
Not bad, Nia. That makes sense, Nia.
Blue truth valid. A cyclone of gold butterflies swept up with Beidou at its center. The magical power of the once smashed black gate was once again refilled.
If I can manage to hold Delanor off here.
I mean, the thing about it, if Erica was treating this as real life, she certainly does relish in a lot of unnecessary cruelty, which is what makes her hateable to me. Her, like, wanting to figure shit out and her having some pride in that is not by itself detestable. but she is very mean and she likes making people suffer in the process, and she kind of like gets off on thinking she's better than people. And that is where I think that she becomes very hateable.
I'll be able to wipe Kinzo out of the study this time, all the way to Kuadorian.
Planner moved clumsily, trying to pull the blue wedge out of her foot. But it didn't even budge. Of course, Beato didn't miss this chance. No witch would.
I've got more, so get ready. There's a chance the Kinzo Nazi he mentioned does not refer to the person himself. The Kinzo Nazi he spoke of might have been another name for this room, right? Kinzo had taken refuge in Kuadori and it was impossible to contact.
Battler gets a lot of shit for small bombs. I think we need to be giving Beato shit for what if Kinzo is the name of the room? That's wild.
Perhaps Natsuki called this room Father, and by contemplating inside it, she felt as though she had received some sort of revelation from Kinzo. So this is just, Natsuki is fucking delusional. This thing is that she's not lying. Natsuki is delusional in this room and thinks she's talking to Kinzo.
That, I suppose,
the thing is that, yeah, that you say that we should make fun of her for that, but she's literally correct. That's literally what Natsuki has been doing.
This is fair. Positing it as what if this room is called Father, though? Wild. Oh, wait, shit, I didn't read that. Sorry, Bells.
I'm hungry!
Yeah, probably.
We've stopped your movement. You've already lost.
Beelzebub's blue wedge pierced into the base of Dlanor's neck. Of course, even this didn't cause her to flinch, but her movements were restricted even further.
Interesting. Is that all? You don't call it a full-course dinner if you stop at the soups and all... Oh, I said horse divorce. The horse divorce!
Hors d'oeuvres.
I know.
Okay.
I'll hit you with the main dish and a dessert all at once. So watch your stomach explode as you die. Just like episode 2. Even if, as you say, this is a closed room impossible to escape from, you can't deny the possibility that he's still hiding in this room. I'm not talking about a hidden door. He might be under the bed or above the ceiling. He might be hiding in a truly unobtrusive blind spot that only demons could know of, right?
You okay?
Yeah, I just breathed in wrong.
Understandable.
Or it might be that Natsuhi was ordered to speak specifically on Kinzo's behalf. Considered herself both his representative and another Kinzo. In other words, it's possible that Natsuhi was also Kinzo.
Natsuhi is Kinzo theory.
I've got plenty more. At 2300 last night, Kinzo escaped out the window. Natsuhi watched him go, then locked the window. This doesn't lead to any problems. In fact, it might be the most beautiful blue truth yet. How's that, Dlanor Nox? There are many ways to escape from this closed room.
Do we want to learn how Dlanor Nox feels about that after the break? Because I realized it's later than usual.
Yeah, I was about to ask for that.
There's not been good stopping points.
Mm-hmm.
Let's all take 5 to 10 and get ourselves a snack.
I'll be hopelessly dependent on the ingot.
Let's all be hopelessly dependent on the ingot. See you soon, and I'll even leave you with this banger. How's that?
It fucking rules.
Yeah. We'll be back. Hi.
Hi.
How are we all doing?
How are you? Did you guys keep an eye on the ingot?
Did you guys keep an eye on the ingot? We're hopelessly dependent on it.
Dude, please tell me that the ingot is okay.
Let's play more video game. How would we feel about that?
Sure.
Know your foolishness in trying to oppose my master.
There's no need for you to argue back.
I just lose and sleep for all eternity.
Just give up and die.
Just give up and die.
The seven sisters appeared from Beato's golden tornado, one after another, piercing Dlanor with blue wedges. 4 blue wedges were buried into her neck, chest, gut, and thigh.
And also the one...
And the one still in her... Yeah, including the one buried in the top of her foot. She was pin-cushioned by 5 stakes.
Oh, Beatrice, come on! When is my turn? I'll use you if I think of any more. Be quiet or no.
I haven't checked on the ingot in a while. I'm looking for Kraus. I can't find him. God.
How do you like that, Dlanor, the witch hunter? After skewering and burning so many witches in the past, how does it feel to be skewered by a witch this time?
They were all ridiculous arguments, but they came fiercely one after another. Though a total of 5 wedges pierced Dlanor, her expression didn't change in the slightest. However, her movements had indeed been limited.
Whoa! Witches sure are scary, yeah?
I do love this driving home the point that a dumb answer can still be a winning answer.
Mm-hmm.
Never stop thinking. Even
Never
if it's
stop.
about stupid shit, that's still thinking, baby.
It's still engaging, it's still working, it's still fighting.
Someone did a Kraus redraw of Hopelessly Dependent on the Ingot!
Oh my god, really?
Oh my god.
Please, please share.
If you have it, do share.
Share it with Josh so they can share it with me.
Did I ever send you the tennis ball post that they
No.
sent me? Oh my god.
You have to do that right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is more important than anything. I will go find the link later. I can send you a screenshot of it because I know that I had a screenshot of it handy. I promise I will find you the link to the post at another time. Anyway.
You have failed me.
You can't beat Twisted Logic, yeah? Welcome to my Twisted Logic 2.
If they don't violate the Nox Decalogue, it's valid!
Well done, Beatrice. Even if there was no one in the study, and even if it was a closed room, that alone isn't enough to deny Father's existence. Against a normal opponent, I'd think the matter settled by now. But this is Dlanor, head inquisitor of heresy. This ruthless woman killed even her father when he violated the Decalogue. Kinzo, now!
Right.
Now that Dlanor had been pinned down, this was their last chance to recover their magical power and escape. Once again, a pitch-black gate began to rise slowly in front of Beato and Kinzo. Though the gate had once been opened by simply drawing in the air, it wasn't so easy in the study now, filled as it was with the power of denial.
What do you think, everyone? No matter how much you question the state of the study, you can't question whether or not Father is in good health.
Natsuki is trying to sound cool with it. She's stealing Erika's one-liner on purpose, is what she's doing.
Yeah.
What do you think, everyone?
Oh, so you say. Both you and I. I'd better not forget we're a part of this battle, right? I cannot fight against witches, but I can fight against you.
Erika grinned at Natsuki with a smile more demonic than a real demon's.
Natsui-san, let me ask again. Last night, you are sure you spoke with Ushiramiya Kinzo-san, right?
Yes. I have said repeatedly that I came to deliver a report for the day to say good night.
This may be a strange thing to ask, but since it's needed to prove your innocence, please answer me straightforwardly. This Kinzo you speak of is the Ushiramiya Kinzo-san we all know of, right? It isn't a different person or thing with the same name, is it?
I'm not really sure what you mean.
It's like this. You didn't, for instance, start calling this room itself Father after Father's death, right? That's what she's asking. You said you gave a daily report to Father before he went to sleep, right? That doesn't mean you gave a daily report to the wall here all by yourself inside the study called Father, right?
How rude! Nothing of the sort happened. Father is Father. He is in good health. I most certainly gave him a report and said good night to him last night. Not trying to trick you or talk my way out of anything.
I see. In that case, can you repeat what I'm about to say? If you aren't tricking or deceiving us in any way, then you should be able to do it.
Fine. I'll repeat whatever you want.
Repeat it. Ushinomiya Natsuhi did, at 2300 last night, speak with Ushinomiya Kinzo while in the same room as him. This room.
I, Ushinomiya Natsuhi, did at 2300 last night speak with Ushinomiya Kinzo while in the same room as him. This room.
Good. Then I'll ask one last thing. Seriously now, Natsuhi-san. You didn't do anything like throwing Kinzo-san out the window after your conversation and locking the window behind him, right? Because everything still makes sense if you did.
Why would I chase father out the window? This is intolerable. This is mockery. It's intolerable.
Please allow me to speak.
Sissel hates it. He can't tolerate this either.
Let it be said that when Natsu refers to Kinzo, she means Ushirimiya Kinzo and nothing else. Please allow me to speak. Natsu claims to have met with Kinzo face to face in the study at 2300.
Natsuhi let out a cry, but it was too late. She had been totally suckered in by their provocation. The blue wedge to the foot representing a telephone discussion. The blue wedge to the neck representing the study itself being called Kinzo. The blue wedge to the gut representing Natsuhi herself being called Kinzo. The blue wedge to the thigh representing Natsuhi letting Kinzo escape out the window and locking it afterwards. The four of them were smashed up with a thin sound, because Natsuhi, the one who knew the truth, had denied them. Those denials had gained the power of the red truth. Despite Kinzo's absence in this closed room, Beidou had introduced 5 ways that Kinzo could still exist. Natsuhi had carelessly crushed the premises behind 4 of those herself. Only one wedge remained. In other words, this was the last blue truth that could bury the contradiction of Kinzo existing in the study at 2300, but not existing there later, after it became a closed room. There was only the theory that pierced Dlanor's chest. Kinzo is hiding somewhere in this room. With that theory, even if Kinzo wasn't present in this closed room study, he could still exist there. If this wedge of Satan's were to be crushed, their chances of escaping this room would become hopelessly dim.
Beatrice-sama, quickly escape while you still can.
Dlanor slowly grasped the final wedge, which still pierced her chest. Apparently that vice-like grip was hurting Satan as though all the bones in her body were being broken.
All that remains is this one wedge. It was about Kinzo hiding somewhere in this room, correct?
As the detective, I've searched all of those places. If I didn't find him, just where could he be hiding?
With the final wedge still sticking out of her chest, Dlanor slowly approached Beidou. If this wedge was taken out, then...
Allow me to ask. Just where in the study is Kinzo hiding? Well then, maybe he's under the bed. A check of that place has already been finished. Maybe he's in the bathtub. A check of that place has already been finished. Inside the closet, under the desk, behind the curtains. A check of that place has been finished. Check finished. Check finished. Behind the bookshelf, behind the closet, under the carpet, under the floor, under the ceiling, behind the wallpaper, inside the sofa, inside the chair, inside the bed, inside the blinks, inside the walls, inside the crook, inside a crack, inside the room.
Behind the wallpaper?
Check finish, check finish, check finish, check finish, check finish, 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 die to the death, sentence to death, that great equalizer is death.
Now's a great time to point out that Dlanor's bit works a little bit better in Japanese. She speaks very politely, which means that a lot of her sentences end in des, which sounds also like how you would say the English word death.
Oh, I didn't do the line correctly. 1 second. Check, finish, check, finish, check, finish, check, finished, check, finish, finish. Die the death sentence is the great equalizer is death.
So when she does shit like this, she's repeating death, the last word of her sentence, which morphs into death, which is really good. Me looking for something I lost. Real. Her cat eyes! Her kitty cat eyes! No locations would work against Dlanor by this point. Dlanor took Beato's final desperate onslaught head-on, turning everything back with a far stronger power of denial. Beat them up, knock them down with overwhelming force. No longer does any place in this study exist for Kinzo to escape to. Beato was blown back like a leaf dancing in the wind, knocked around over and over again like an empty can lying on a road. By now, no matter how many times Beato used the blue truth, it wouldn't be able to defeat Dlanor's red.
Witches are so pathetic. You just try to talk your way out of things endlessly, trying to confuse the truth. Let me borrow Dlanor's words. I'm disappointed, Beatrice-san.
Erica coldly delivered these decisive words to Beato, who was crawling on the ground.
Detective's authority. The detective has the right to inspect all crime scenes. I have exercised this right. Therefore, I can say this. Kinzo-san is not inside this room. Furthermore, this room is a perfect closed room. From the above 2 points, I can state this fact. This room was empty the whole time. Natsuki-san lied about having met Kinzo-san here last night. That makes this checkmate, Beatrice-san.
Apparently the director of the stage plays is an Erica stan, and I understand him completely. I believe that. That explains why she's so insanely well cast.
How's that?
Except nothing less than actual Erica in real life.
And yeah, they found her. I don't know how they did it, but they found her.
They invented her. Just like for a true Furuto Erica fan will invent a Furuto Erica.
That's true.
How's that? Simply by the existence of this room, this level of reasoning is possible for Furuto Erica. What do you think, everyone?
At these words, the final wedge shattered, and at the same time, the pitch-black gate that was about to open shattered once again. This time, the warp portal had been completely destroyed. No longer would Kinzo be permitted to exist in this room, or escape from it. Beato struggled to her feet, but that was the best she could do. She no longer had the energy to fight. She had taken all of the denying red head-on from close range. It took all her strength just to withstand a pain so strong it felt like she'd vomit up all her insides. Even Beato, who had always aimed for the title of strongest and most evil witch, couldn't do a thing against a witch hunter. No matter how sturdy a sandcastle you build on the beach, it can never win against the rising tide.
Sorry, Kinzo. Looks like this opponent really was tough after all.
Beatrice, I thank you. You've done so much for me despite your remaining grudge.
I guess it's true that your life flashes by when you see death coming. I've remembered how you once looked when we were young. You're annoyingly like Battler.
What if I blew up?
I now pass on everything, my soul and the qualifications of the head, to Battler. I no longer have any regrets.
Battler, my apologies. How pitiful. Though I swore to fight again with you once again, I must settle my account like this. You heard her!
To Beato, it seemed as though Battler had met her gaze. There was no way he could have. This Battler was the Peace Battler. There was no way he could see Beto in this higher-level world. However, his eyes really did meet hers. Even though they couldn't have, Beto was sure they did. As Erika, Ava, and the others closed in on Natsuhi, questioning her over and over, only Battler stood apart from that tumult. His expression held none of the enthusiasm and excitement that the other humans had. It just piercingly and coldly surveyed the scene. And the expression on his face was a quiet displeasure, anger. He wasn't feeling compassion for Natsuhi because her lie was about to be exposed. However, he couldn't excuse Erika, a self-proclaimed riddle pervert, who simply enjoyed cornering Natsuhi and those who sympathized with her. Then, he whispered softly, "It's useless." Beto and the others definitely heard that.
You don't think Battler might, you know what he says, turn things around from this weakened position?
I probably could have done it back in the day. And Battler can probably do it. I would have handled it if I were
Battler.
here. Battler, if you are indeed the man who will inherit everything from me, now is the time to prove it. Don't let the legend of the Golden Witch end here.
No, Kinzo, this one's end. This one's end of the Golden Witch. Legend was a really long time ago.
It's true that I met Father here last night.
Turnabout of the Golden Witch.
It's true! And he spoke to me of the Ashura family's glorious history, as well as the burden of bearing it.
Your lie has already been exposed, Natsuhi-san. We already know that you were alone in this room last night. Isn't it about time to give up and confess? Culprits who are bad at giving up tend to go with bad mystery novels. At least in the end, please prove that this is a slightly better third-rate mystery than that.
Didn't she say that that those who start to crack and confess everything after a little bit of pressure also is third-rate mystery?
Shut up!
It's useless. It's all useless.
Battler, who had been silent off by himself up until then, spoke. At first, it sounded as though he was attacking Natsuhi. However, when Erika realized he was glaring directly at her, her expression visibly clouded with displeasure.
Thistle is playing.
He is. He's playing toys.
God, I wish that would me.
And just what are you calling useless?
If this is a third-rate mystery, then the detective's third-rate too. Listen up. I'm gonna become grandfather.
Battler?
What?
What the fuck?
You'll become Kinzo-san. Are you saying you'll become Kinzo-san and reenact his disappearance from this room? Do you actually intend to deny my checkmate? Fool!
What is this man saying?
Hey, new girls. This here's your first game, right? Sorry, but it's totally useless to call checkmate after a little something like that. Yeah, it's all useless. What are you talking about, Battler? You say you'll become dad.
And I find it really interesting that with all of the accusations and stuff, Rudolph had said literally fucking nothing that whole time.
Oh, yeah. He fully, I guess, like, has no real opinion on this, or didn't feel the need to pipe in.
Yeah, it's just
I
like...
mean, Rudolph is not one to jump in on the Natsuhi bullying.
Mm-hmm.
He is not one of the characters who seems to, like, enjoy making Natsuhi feel bad.
Yeah, like, both Hideyoshi and Ava have their good cop, bad cop thing.
Yeah.
Kirie just kind of likes to apply pressure whenever she can on whoever.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas
Rudolph's
waiting for Kirie's permission to talk.
I find it so funny that, like, episode 1 and 2, Rudolph's like, I have my masculinity, I want to talk more, but in all of the ones afterwards, Rudolph's like, okay, Kirie.
Okay, Kirie, yes, Kirie. Sorry, Kirie.
Yeah, I'll reenact it. I'll become grandfather and disappear from this room.
You can't use the windows of the door, right? How would you do it?
Did you find a hidden door?
I don't have a clue what's going on! Yes, not a clue! I love how Kumasawa talks like Tom Nook.
That is such a specific pull, but I think that you're right. I think you're right. This changes
Yes!
Russell. That sound wasn't just the noise of the onlookers fidgeting.
That was a name.
It was a provocative chill that ran up Erica's spine.
Interesting. I see. You're the successor to the Yoshidamiya family headship, the one who bears the head's ring. That should more than qualify you to stand in for Kinzo-san. Why don't you let us have a look at your theory?
Erica's expression was no longer a challenging smile. It was malicious. Overwhelmingly displeased. She couldn't conceal her anger at having this very pleasurable time of hers ruined.
How will it get us out of here?
I've got it. I see. So that move is still open.
You finally figured it out, you damn geezer. Hidden doors and hiding under the bed, all that stuff is so pitiful it brings tears to my eyes. This is the Ushinomiya Kinzo we're talking about
We
here.
gotta think crazy.
There's gotta be a more thrilling and exciting answer. We gotta think crazy.
Exactly. How pitiful that even I couldn't think of it, even though it was about me. And how pitiful that the only one of my relatives to understand me is Battler, the kid who's returned after being gone 6 years.
Well, the other ones are kind of dead, so... Well, possibly
What?
dead. Well, none of the other kids are here to understand him.
Oh, I see, yeah. Well, he's got other. He did say relatives, not specifically
Oh, true,
kids.
yeah.
He does have some remaining relatives, including his kids.
Unfortunate.
Battler, take my place. Do not shame me.
Sure, Gramps. I'll teach these guests what the dignity of the Ushinomiya family head is all about.
What are you planning to do?
Episode 5
Father?
is so fucking weird, dude.
What?
Episode 5 is so fucking weird,
It's
dude.
so crazy.
Every character, I'm like, what are you smoking?
Everyone's acting weird. This is the one where Lambda Delta's like, let's find the silliest way, how silly I can get everyone to act.
Lambda Delta said, let's do a silly one.
Natsuhi, Beatrice, watch! I'll show you what being the Ushinomiya family head truly entails.
That battler, what's he trying to prove?
Lambda's cute pop episode 5 strikes again. That's very true. Well, I can't deny that it is both cute and pop.
And grotesque.
And grotesque, she did also promise that.
There's no way he can do anything. This is a perfect closed room.
Natsuhi, come over here. Now move as I tell you to. Battler called Natsuhi over to the window and whispered something to her with his back towards the others.
Miss Glanor, you're ready for everything, right? It's not possible for Kinzo and the witch to slip out of this room, right?
Of course. Gertrude, Cornelia, and the palace guards double-checked that the seal of the closed room is perfect. Please allow me to speak. Our barrier is perfect.
I can't believe that I wasn't even sure if we were getting to Dlanor tonight and we're actually in fact going to get that scene.
Please allow me to speak. There are no hidden doors, and escape will not be granted through either door or window. Palace guards and Battler engages the barrier, fire arrows without hesitation.
Shasta Corpse, Roger. Battler-sama, prepare yourself. Escaping from this room is impossible.
But he'll do it, yeah.
How?
He certainly can succeed even without any basis. That's what it means to be the Ashirmi head, yeah.
True.
He came back!
Get this woman a true. Let's watch.
Hi, Ronoe. What are you fucking doing here?
So true, bestie.
Oh yeah, this is for someone who's not in chat. That's the guy who we called Mr. Yowie.
That is the guy we called Mr. Yowie. Self-explanatory.
Yeah, you'll understand. Yeah, let's see the match, see Evrice's opponent. We're gonna beat them with the power of friendship. That's why everyone's come back.
Then I'll begin. Everyone nodded and watched Battler's every move. Grandfather was lying in bed like this, grunting his understanding of Aunt Natsuhi's daily report or whatever. Not a very flattering report. Not a very flattering review of Ginzo. He's like, I don't know, he was doing whatever the fuck, I don't give a shit. Battler laid down on the bed himself. As if it still mattered now, Erica grumbled about disturbing the crime scene, but no one listened to her. Then I stop answering and sleep. Well, realistically speaking, I probably get tired of all that talking and only pretend to be asleep. So true, I do that.
I see that father has gone to sleep. Bow silently and leave.
Natsuhi lowered her head to Battler, who was still lying down in the bed, and turned around. Then she started wandering around as though doing an inspection of the room. After seeing that grandfather was asleep, Aunt Natsuhi probably did an inspection of the room before leaving. Maybe if I close my eyes, Natsuhi will leave. Of course, she had Shannon-chan and the others clean it every day, but she still checked it thoroughly herself, making sure there was no dust piling up, making sure he hadn't run out of any consumables.
Yes. This is the room of the precious family head, so I check everything carefully myself instead of relying entirely on the servants. I always do that.
That's true. Madame usually checks things very carefully.
Her inspections are very detailed, and she even checks all of the consumables in the washroom one by one.
In other words, we aren't just talking dust on the windowsill like you see all the time on TV. She checks to see that there's enough soap and toilet paper in the washroom. Though she probably doesn't have to do it each day, she's very devoted.
That is my routine. I mustn't slack off in my inspection of the head's room for even a single day.
So what's your point? Please keep any showing off to a minimum.
Oh, you? You?
No one except for me is allowed to show off.
No showing off.
No one's allowed to steal my spotlight. Isn't getting to show off the biggest perk to being a detective?
But I'm detective.
I'm just imagining that area is just like up the room, like.
Yeah. You know Erica was stamping her feet.
Absolutely, like a angry bunny.
Mods, he's showing off. Kill him.
I love Erica.
Pathetic wet creature.
Literally sopping wet.
Sopping wet rabbit.
Yeah. Since we're inside the study, you can probably tell that even though we call it a study, it wouldn't be wrong to call it a second house inside the mansion. It has a sleeping room, a study, a washroom, and even a toilet and bath. In other words, it isn't a single room. You could call it a full house.
Thank you for the explanation of the room's layout. However, the moving of having him hide somewhere inside of this room has already been defeated.
She's putting holes in the hem of that dress, gripping it so hard. Exactly. He isn't hiding. However, there's gotta be several blind spots. For example, if Aunt Natsuhi went into the bathroom to check the amount of toilet paper, most of the study would be outside of her range of vision. In other words, for almost every location in the study, the sole observer would have disappeared.
Oh, I love that. She's like, oh? Now this is getting fun.
Observer disappearance! We've lost track of Kinzo!
Please, allow me to speak. Let it be said that the witch's darkness is filling the study.
Excellent. Watch as it fills with the power of darkness.
So,
They gotta stop making Erica and Kinzo talk in the same scene. These are like my two hardest voices, please.
Where they want you to shred your vocal cords.
I'm gonna die.
Give up and die. Voice them and die.
so,
I purposely made Erica, like, not overly hard for myself, but she's very ragged, and Kinzo is also very ragged, and it's bad.
Yeah, shred your vocal cords.
Battler doesn't help either.
So, if the Observer, if Natsuhi goes away, so what? What next?
When grandfather noticed that fussy Aunt Natsuhi leaving, he got up.
Why?
On a twisted night such as this, what better way to enjoy a drink than bathed in twisted weather under the night sky?
Since Aunt Natsuhi's in the blind spot of the bathroom, it becomes possible for grandfather to walk about the study at will. It was possible for him to move without Natsuhi's knowledge. It was possible for him to move without contradicting what Natsuhi knew. Warning! Battler is approaching the study door!
Please, allow me to speak. A noise rings out when the lock on the study door is released. Know that you cannot leave through the door without Natsuhi thinking something was odd.
Because Battler had acted as though he was heading for the door, Gertrude, who was sealing the door, immediately sent out a warning. Maybe it was possible for him to leave the study while in Natsuhi's blind spot. However,
My demonic absinthe under the twisted sky.
That's right, there's the sound. We know there's a loud sound when the auto lock is released. Even if Natsuhi was in a blind spot inside the study, she wouldn't miss hearing that. Of course she'd find it odd.
Please, allow me to speak. Let it be said that Natsuhi did not hear the sound of the door opening while in the room.
the washroom and the toilet are very close to the door. Even if they hadn't been, that autolock always lets off such a massive sound. She'd be able to hear that sound no matter what. Natsuhi had already spoken with Erika and the others about the details of the previous night, making it quite clear that nothing out of the ordinary had occurred. An argument that relied on Natsuhi failing to hear the lock wouldn't work.
Please, allow me to speak once more.
This sounds like an Ace Attorney Investigations
It
track.
really does.
This is like really specifically
this is
investigations.
Balor's, like, cornered theme.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if it's cornered, but like his bringing out the decisive the like evidence.
Yeah, yeah.
Kinzo entering or exiting through the door will not be permitted. Please allow me to speak. Let it be said that this is a useless struggle. It is foolish.
It's true I can't break through the red of that girl by the door. But what about you over there by the window?
Turning his back to Gertrude, who claimed that leaving through the door was impossible, Battler locked his gaze on Cornelia, who stood in front of the window. Is this the first time we get their names?
Yeah, a little bit ago.
Oh, okay.
I think Delena was like Gertrude, Cornelia.
Oh, she might have been, yeah.
But that was their first time mentioning their names. It was like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
After they've been in the scene for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Poor girls. Do they get tips?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they're that one.
Yeah. Gertrude, a member of Eiserne Jungfrau, the 7th District Repentance Enforcement Agency of the Great Court of Heaven. She's a high-level assistant inquisitor and a first-class minister. As an assistant inquisitor of heresy, she is tasked with aiding during interrogations and hearings. Because most missions end up as executions, she is usually assigned the job of using barriers to block the target's means of escape. When it comes to fulfilling her missions, she is calm, flawless, expressionless, and emotionless. However, most of the time, she is quite compassionate and is loved by many of her juniors. She's already passed her exam to become a full Inquisitor and was offered a vacant position in a different district, but she refused. She waits for a reassignment under Dlanor, to whom she owes a great debt, and continues to serve alongside her as an assistant. Therefore, though she is an assistant, she is treated as an Inquisitor, 3rd-class Archbishop. Cordelia, a member of Eiserne Jungfrau, the 7th District Repentance Enforcement Agency of the Great Court of Heaven, an assistant Inquisitor and a 3rd-class Minister. She has obtained high grades in academic exercises, but this is her first time on the job. She possesses a strong sense of justice and is currently cramming for exams to become an Inquisitor of Heresy like Dlanor. Her current goal is to become more like the veteran assistant, Gertrude. She normally has a zealous personality, however she imitates Gertrude and tries to be emotionless. She's too innocent and pure to be involved in heresy hearings, and she doesn't yet know anything about dirty jobs and the dark side of this profession. Cool! Gertrude intentionally selected her for this mission, which reeks of a plot within the Senate. She wants
The
Cornelia...
Senate?
Yeah!
That's the first mention of there being a Senate.
No, it's not.
I think so.
This might be referring to the Witch Senate.
I don't know if... Oh, yeah, that was mentioned briefly before.
The witch senators have been referenced all the way back because episode 3 references witches needing a sponsor by a member of the Senate. Mm-hmm. Of which we know Lambda and Byrne are both senators. Mm-hmm. A plot within the Senate. She wants Cornelia to see for herself whether she's really suited for this kind of work.
Can you go to the Chester sisters? I want to see if they're anything different.
Yes.
To the flag.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is different. This is the same.
Yeah, this looks the same.
Can we get her?
I think she's end of episode tips exclusive.
Damn. I just noticed that there's so many circle below them also changes color.
Yeah, that's interesting. It matches their colors. That's cute.
That's really cute.
Yeah. I heard the reason so many sprites don't have pants is because Rikishi's friend said she was gonna cosplay an Umineko character. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Jesus. I kind of assumed
Is that true or is that a joke?
Wouldn't put it past Rikishi. I always assumed it was just, having seen the Angel Mort uniform, they all look at least kind of like the Angel Mort uniform. Mm-hmm. I presumed it was, I mean, I guess this is still the case, but either way, it's a very, what if I, Rikishi 07, was horny sort of situation. Yeah. Heard it, so grain of salt. Fair.
It was just like, I would believe that, however, he also just seems to like his Angel Mort costume.
Yeah, he cannot let that silhouette go. But either way, what if I, Rikishi 07, was horny, is sort of the motivating factor.
Yeah.
So, make sure you hold that barrier of yours up tight, because you're gonna be blasted away, okay? By now, Butler's target was clear. It was Cornelia. It was the window.
To the wall.
He was going to smash this closed room from the window. From the wall.
Huh?
Not expecting to be chosen as the target herself, Cornelia was overawed for just a second. Good word. Hi Nine! Welcome in!
You came in just in time.
You're just in time for it to get really fun.
You're just in time.
But she quickly regained her composure. Thank you! I'm really happy with how it came out. On rare occasions, struggling, fleeing witches would directly challenge the barriers Cornelia set up. Such witches were always fighting desperately, on the brink of death.
Please, allow me to speak. You are Battler's target, Cornelia. I ask that you be on your guard. Fool! God have pity on this foolish lamb!
I'm no sheep. The head of the Yoshinomiya family is an eagle. With one wing.
I was about to say, with one wing. And then he...
Listen, what do we even fucking commentate for?
Yeah.
This game keeps fucking stealing our lines.
Don't think you can just keep me shut up in this study forever with just a flimsy window like that.
Starting from a low posture, both silent and supple, Battler ran forward like a white leopard.
As opposed to a regular leopard?
Well, because he's wearing white.
True.
This guy couldn't possibly mean to...
Huh? This is, please, allow me to speak. There is no way to defeat my red. Know that your wish will not be granted.
Cornelia thrust out both her arms and made a sign. When she did, a red barrier closed in front of Battler.
Know that your course is a fruitless one, Oshirimiya Battler. Know that this window is sealed from the inside and Natsuhi did not help Kinzo escape.
I'm not saying that Aunt Natsuhi helped Grandfather escape, but what if Grandfather snuck out, keeping it a secret from Aunt Natsuhi?
Why would Kinzo go out the window on his own?
What better way to enjoy a drink on a twisted night than leaping through the rain-swept skies?
This man is also just like, this man is like in his late 70s.
Yeah.
But this is the 3rd floor, right? It's impossible!
Even you've jumped down a flight of stairs at least once in your life, right?
What the fuck?
3 stories is nothing for Kinzo. I wouldn't put it past him. I certainly wouldn't. The metaphysical walls are breaking down.
That's ridiculous!
Yeah, we're on like 4 different meta layers at once right now. Don't even
The
worry
world,
about it.
just the logic of the universe is coming apart. This is the end of the island.
It's kind of peak. This is the end of the island. Blue cracks appeared.
Birds are flying backwards.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck happened in Paradise Killer.
Yeah.
What better way to sip cocktails of justice on the beach of truth, or whatever the fuck Judge said?
Cocktails of truth on the beach of justice?
Something like that.
I think I had it backwards. I think it's Cocktails of Truth on the Beach of Justice. It's the title of one of the Paradise Killer VODs. I should know this. Blue cracks appeared in Cornelia's red barrier, and it shattered with a crisp sound. It was all far too quick. It looked almost as though she'd gotten out of the way herself in fear of Battler. Endless 9! Yeah, 9's right here.
Endless amounts of 9.
Endless amounts of 9. Magic resistance power, endless 9! Cornelia-sama, you can't block it, retreat! At the same time, the barrier shattered. The window behind Cornelia's back was flung open. The curtains fluttered for just an instant. Though it was all filled with rain, the heavens and the courtyard were spread out in front of them. A fitting exit for an eagle leaping from this closed room.
Cornelia, repair the barrier.
As you wish, Commander Delanor.
So he's like a bird, escaping some sort of
Cage. Using blue.
Using blue.
Know that you will not be able to break this.
Sort of Mater Linkian if you're insane. Cornelia quickly returned to her senses and set up another red barrier. However, this was her last one.
Please allow me to speak. Let us accept for the time being that Kinzo escaped through the window. In that case, how did he lock the window, which cannot be locked from the outside? The window was locked from the inside.
Useless!
Yeah, it's all useless. Kinzo and Battler grinned. Did she think this feeble red could block the charge of Battler and Kinzo, the 2 family heads? After Grandfather jumped out the window, Aunt Natsuhi probably noticed a slight draft. I love how jank Umineko sprites look when you make them face right, by the way. I think it's so beautiful. She then approached the window, realized it was wide open, then quickly closed and locked it.
Natsuhi couldn't have imagined that I'd slip out the window.
Yeah, so it's only natural that Natsuhi
only-
thought Kinzo was sleeping in bed.
It's only natural.
It was only natural. It was literally only natural. Now that Battler had found the answer, the red barrier was more fragile than thin glass. The answer implying that that was true.
That this happened.
He did that. The red magical wall of certainty had been smashed again, so easily that it disgraced the name of certainty itself.
Hi, Lambda.
Unbelievable, right?
Unbelievable, right? That barrier was more firm than any runaway had ever used against Jessica. And yet it had been destroyed so easily.
Though Battler was rushing fiercely and had almost reached Cornelia, she didn't step aside. Her steel spirit, worthy of the name Eiserne Jungfrau, didn't allow her to step outside. She took a charm from her pocket, placed it against the thin air, and made a sign. Then, not red, but blue burned there. Though it was far more frail than the red barrier, it was her last method of resistance.
You won't get away. You won't get through. You won't Please, let me speak. Let me speak. Be that as it may, this is the 3rd floor. How could a wingless human escape from the window? Know that you won't get through. You won't.
Just quit your whining and watch.
This is the answer! Ah! Battler jumped. He burst through Cornelia and her blue barrier, knocked them away, and his body flew out the window through the darkness of the rainy sky.
And then he died.
And then he died.
Ah! I think the song is called Your Dream.
That sounds correct. Break free! Battler jumps out Kinzo's window. Oh yeah, we can see achievements a little better with this Steam art.
Yeah.
Not fully, but a little.
A little bit better.
The fragments of the loop. It also means that when my dear beloved friends play games on Steam, it will out them.
We'll see whenever Danica is playing Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, exactly. The fragments of the blueberry are scattered, beautifully adorning the surrounding air. The closed room had been smashed open. Battler flew out of the mansion, through the sky above the rainy courtyard. All the raindrops became small round gems and were scattered through the air. Battler flew across the treasure box world of that exquisite stormy sky, through the countless gems of rain that filled it. In the sky over the world frozen in time, Glanor and Battler faced each other. If Battler, who had smashed and flown out the window, was like a knight leaping off a white horse, then Glanor was another knight who floated in the air waiting for him. In the air above the courtyard, surrounded by the Yoshinomiya mansion and frozen in time, the true new head of the Yoshinomiya family and the disciple of heaven who would test him crossed paths.
Well done! When you fall into the courtyard, whether you live or die, it won't change the fact that Kinzo could have defeated this closed room. You have thrown away your life and jumped our martyr. Well done, you have smashed our closed room barrier. Splendid, Ushirimiya Batora.
I like that this implies... I like how this appears to imply that Battler really did just die.
He just killed himself.
He's like, watch this!
What is it
Splat.
with Ushirimiya's and throwing themselves off buildings?
Mean!
And then maybe or maybe not dying.
They hate vehicles, but they love tall buildings, those Ushinomiyas.
They love throwing themselves out of tall buildings. However, I'm the High Inquisitor of Heresy, Delanor A. Knox. I cannot allow you to escape out from under my nose. Now, at the end, allow me the honor of crossing swords with you.
Sure, bring it on. This game is surprisingly unrelenting.
Love the fact that if Battler dies, everyone will still think Kinzo will be fine and just walk away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's, well, because it posits the possibility that, like, someone else could still have moved Kinzo's body after the fact. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't, like, invalidate the current story. It raises further questions, but it doesn't invalidate the current story.
And it makes it so that Natsuhi could not have done that.
Yep. So technically, it still exonerates? Is that the word?
I think so.
It still exonerates Natsuhi in this situation.
I'm no lawyer.
I was gonna say, you should know this, I feel like, but...
I'm only a paralegal. I'm no lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm not even a paralegal yet.
Yeah. In this world
I'm
where
just
the
some
gems
guy.
of rain fell slowly like large snowflakes on a snowy field, Glanor and Battler slowly crossed paths.
I'm thinking of that JoJo panel of Dio and Jotaro.
I can't beat the shit out of you without getting closer at that one.
I can't beat the shit out of you without getting closer.
Oh, you're approaching me?
Ting.
I love Oh You're a Chime Ting. It's so important to
It's
me.
everything to me.
It seemed slow, and yet it happened in a flash. Their gazes crossed and clashed like lightning. Night confronted night head on, and everything would be settled with a single strike. Blue and red crossed paths.
Was it shown beforehand that a blind spot existed within the study for Natsuhi? If it wasn't shown, then that this theory will not be permitted. Nox's eighth. It is forbidden for the case to be resolved with clues that are not presented.
That's not even what Nox's eighth is. I'll allow it, but that's not what it is. Glanor's double strike with... It's related, but it's not the same thing. Glanor's double strike with both the blue and red blades reached out to slice Battler, but we only ever drew the red one. And failed.
No, there is a blue one.
Not the physical sword, there wasn't.
Oh, okay.
There was a slash, but she is only ever drawn with a red sword.
Fair enough, yeah. But they say that she has it.
Those long
it's too
swords.
small.
Those long swords, counterpoint, the blue one is a short sword. They're not both long swords. Fuck you. Those long swords, which had never lost... I was arguing with the game, not you.
Oh, okay.
Which had never lost over the course of 100 battles cut through empty air. Because they said long swords plural, but I'm pretty sure it very specifically says in her tips that the blue one is a short sword. When we entered the study, its structure was clearly described. Too bad for you. For the first time, an expression showed on Glanor's face.
Were the other things not expressions?
It was a sudden smile. She had known about that long before. However, she's blinking. She still couldn't let him escape without attempting that single strike. Not even with her reputation as an Inquisitor of Heresy on the line. She still crossed swords with Battler, even though she knew it would fail.
Yes, I knew. With your answer, Nox's aid is not violated.
Here it comes. No hard feelings.
Yes, come.
In Battler's hand was a blade that shone red. That blade etched out the red truth. Oh, Battler's is a long sword. That's true. That maybe is what they meant.
It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that Kinzo's study was a small villa he had created inside the mansion. A study, a library, a place to sleep, and a bathroom and washroom. It was divided into multiple rooms. That has already been shown, and it suggests that there could have been a blind spot somewhere within the room.
Without any mercy. No, without any reluctance, which would have been dishonorable. The sword of red truth cut into Dlanor. It cut a beautiful hemisphere through the countless gems of rain that filled the sky.
Well done.
Time exploded into life. Both of them fell through the courtyard. One drifted down. The other tumbled through the air. Then there was a soft sound and a dull thud. The first was the sound of Battler landing gently in the courtyard. The second was the sound of Dlanor crashing down. After crouching down for a while, Battler slowly stood up. Though he had jumped down from the third floor, he had landed as lightly as though he had merely jumped over a fence. I don't know, staying down that long sounds like you fucked up your knees a little bit and weren't sure about standing.
Battler!
Beato leaned out of the study window, looking to see if the supposedly wingless Battler had landed safely.
Beato, come on, jump!
Huh?
That window is our way out, so jump! You aren't the kind of witch who can be locked up inside a closed room, right?
The study was no longer a closed room. She could jump from here, escape from here. By now, the closed room that had threatened to capture the witch and suffocate her had been destroyed.
Yes! You too, Kinzo!
Go. The moment Battler showed his answer, my spirit had already escaped from this room. Change the world, my final message.
Kinzo's form became a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared. The closed room barrier had dissolved, and the power that denies magic had scattered. Beato ran towards the window. That was the only exit from the closed room of this witch hunt. After glaring at the Siester sisters and the subordinates of the Inquisitor of Heresy, she readied her wound-covered body and ran towards the window, just like Battler had done. She looked like Cinderella running as she heard the bell toll.
There's no way we'll let you escape, Beatrice. Illusion of the witch.
Erica flew at Beato, trying to latch on to Beato as she dashed, but it was like trying to catch smoke, and she landed face first on the floor.
LMAO.
And everyone laughed at how stupid she looked.
Haha.
There's no way a human could catch a witch. For one such as her, without love, even touching Beato was impossible.
Sister Corpse.
Corpse.
Sister Cor. Shoot the witch. Shoot her dead.
Alignment conflict. Unable to fire.
Please allow me to speak. I have no barrier prepared that can block Balor's blue truth.
Both Chester 00 and Gertrude spoke with unbelievably calm voices.
No one can stop them. Not Battler, not Kinzo, not Beatrice. If these guys manage to escape my closed room, my theory. I'm the detective, Fruto Erika.
Hey Rudolph, check this freak out. My brain, Kiryu has just been gossiping with Rudolph this whole time.
That's why we haven't heard much from them. Yeah.
She's like, LMAO.
Erica crouched, screaming and clutching at her head. The Great Golden Witch isn't gonna be defeated by something like that geezer's grubby study. It's still just the first twilight. I'll teach these newcomers that your game isn't that easy. It's funny every time. It's funny every time. Just like Battler, Beato also flew. She drifted down through the rain treasure box world into Battler's chest. Battler caught her with both arms as though catching a feather from an angel. Lambda's writing fan fiction right now.
Remember when they were fighting each other to the death at the end of that last episode with Beato constantly making fun of Anjay's death and Battler being like, I will fucking rip your head off?
Yeah. Imagine being Battler and walking into Lambda writing RPF of you and mashing the faces of the dolls of you and your sworn rival in a crude facsimile of kissing. Literally.
Yeah!
It was like a knight catching a princess who had been locked up in a tower. Like a beautiful picture of a scene in some fairy tale.
Crap, I think I'm in love. How old do you assume your family heads like this?
If you were to write down the unprecedented feats of Ushiramiya Kinzo, you would probably have an uproarious tale longer than all the grimoires in the study put together. It seems the tale of the next head will be worth writing down as well. In fact, it already is being written. It's already a very, very long tale. And it's getting longer every day.
With every word I'm saying.
We're not even 2/3 of the way through this shit. It's still going. The demons giggled on top of the roof, holding umbrellas. There's so many, like, really strong visuals in this scene. That's one of them.
Can I just look at Gop real quick?
For sure.
I just need to be reminded of the fact that she has no ass.
Flat as a washboard back there. Runaway not beating the Mr. Yowie allegations.
Mr. Yowie himself.
Mr. Yowie himself. Her shoes are crazy.
I hate her.
Assless gops!
Assless gops!
Love her. Then they quietly looked down over the two in the courtyard.
You're not bad at all!
I like that you could tell that the minimal sprite animation really did it for me, because I could see her jumping down and like pushing him away, all embarrassed.
Yeah.
I guess all your games have toughened me up. In shock, Beato actually praised Battler as he held her in his arms. Battler laughed in his usual carefree way.
This is impossible.
This is cringe!
This is cringe.
Erica looked down from the window and clenched her teeth, still clutching at her head. Still holding Beato in his arms, Battler grinned back. Erica.
Mods!
Mods!
What?
I'm not giving the riddle of the Golden Witch to you. I'll solve it. That riddle belongs to the two of us. Right, Beato?
Indeed! My riddle is... Yeah.
Yup.
When Battler laughed evilly, Beato's face turned uncharacteristically red.
It's really... I forgot how fanficky this was.
It kicks ass. This is great.
Lambda Delta's just doing whatever she wants.
Lambda Delta's playing toys.
Lambda Delta is playing
You
toys.
can't say Lambda's not playing toys. But even so, she spoke while laughing loudly.
My riddle is yours. Yours alone, shooting me a battler. I won't let anyone else solve it! That was...
Oh, okay, that was him. It's just weird he's suddenly talking about her in the third person. Listen to her saying something like that.
As he's turning to the camera and turning to the demons and being like, can you believe it?
Battler snorted, amused that Beato had said something so out of character.
And cringe.
And, still holding Beato in his arms, he spun around in a kind of waltz. The falling gems of rain celebrated their victory over this trial. Lambda, mwah, mwah, I love you, Battler.
He jumped down from the third story, and he's alright. He jumped down and escaped from the closed room. This is ridiculous. This isn't reasoning, it's insane.
If Battler had at least been seriously injured and writhing in the mud, Erica might still have had some ground to stand on. She might have been able to claim that Kinzo couldn't have jumped down with his old body and gotten away unscathed. However, Battler stood calmly in the courtyard, looking up at Erica with the dignity of the victor.
Everyone, I'll ask one more time. This is impossible, right? There's no way a human could jump down from a third story and land unharmed. Isn't that right, everyone? Much less Kinzo-san jumping down from the third floor at his age.
At his big age.
At his big age. This isn't reasoning.
Erica tried to get everyone's agreement and somehow turn things around, but their responses were no different from how they'd been a short while ago.
No, it would be possible for Kinzo-san.
I wouldn't put it past Father.
This is Father we're talking about.
There's plenty of crazy stories about that, man. It's not like this one surprised me a bit.
What? Is there something wrong with your heads? With your brains, people?
At this rate, it looks like your closed room argument wasn't perfect.
Not only the servants, but the family members also agreed. They all agreed that there was nothing strange about Kinzo jumping down from a third-floor window. Just who in the world is this Ushinomiya Kinzo person?
Oh, I'll give you 60 points. Kinzo would have done with a bit more flash in his younger days.
It's funny because jumping out the window wasn't necessary at all. As stated earlier, even if Kinzo jumped and then died, that exonerates Natsuki. Yeah, but they gotta be like, nah, he'd handle it.
He needs some more tweaking.
Oh, and how much should it be tweaked?
Well, he might have jumped out with me in his arms.
Got it. Next time I'll do that.
If you think you can, just you try.
Theodo's voice grew very faint and she gulped. Then her body suddenly crumbled away into a cloud of gold butterflies.
She got too embarrassed.
She's shy. That was because many people had rushed up to the window and she was being bathed with gazes filled with the anti-magic toxin. Theodo's body became invisible to them and melted into the air. So to their eyes, it appeared that Battler was standing all alone out in the courtyard. Battler, you okay?
He looks like he's fine. Thank goodness. That shit was really funny.
I have lost. In that case, for the benefit of those people in the study as well, deliver your final blow to me. Use your final blue truth to show how Kinzo escaped from the closed room of that study.
Oh. Right. There was no pain in Delanor's expression. Pleasure and pain never showed up on her face in the first place. However, she was only barely able to rise to her feet, using her longsword as a crutch, so it was easy to guess at how heavily she'd been damaged. And, despite her lack of an expression, you could tell that this was a loss she could accept. Battler and Lanor turned to face each other.
Here I go.
Yes, come.
As though readying herself, Glanor quietly closed her eyes, but she still stood tall and maintained her air of dignity.
This is my blue truth.
The blue power gathered. Battler slowly approached Glanor. Then he faced the rainy sky and yelled out the blue truth.
Ushinomiya Kinzo escaped from the study through the window when Aunt Natsuhi couldn't see him. Aunt Natsuhi didn't notice and unlocked the window. In this way, Aunt Natsuhi saw Grandfather go to bed, yet Grandfather was able to escape from the study without contradicting the lock of the window or the door sealed by the receipt. I have just demonstrated that it was physically possible for him to escape. Therefore, this battle is over.
The blue wedge flashed through the courtyard along with a blue bolt of lightning, roaring down towards Glanor's forehead as she stared up at the sky.
Lol.
Beidou's game isn't forgiving. It's doubtful whether the classic patterns of the mystery genre even work here. Your swordsmanship isn't bad, but you ought to be a bit more flexible in your thinking.
A massive blue wedge that looked like a pillar was above Glanor's forehead, and had stopped with its tip just slightly touching her. It didn't run her through. It made no mark larger than being poked with a pencil. When Battler snapped his fingers, the blue wedge shattered and became a shower of translucent gems. No, drops of rain that poured down over the courtyard. Glanor sat down in a dazed sort of way. Amidst the thunder and rain, the successor to the Yoshinomiya family headship faced the people staring down from the study and spread his arms wide.
Welcome to Beidou's and my game. Welcome, Furudo Erika.
How amusing, Ushinomiya Battler. Good. Truly good. I'll chew it to bits, this riddle of the witch. All the way deep into its guts while it's still alive.
Beidou and Battler both looked calmly up at Erika, who couldn't contain her evil laugh. Your lambda laugh is so good.
Thank you.
This is the good stuff. Erica, that was so lame. Lady Berncastle, my apologies.
One moment. I need a sippy.
That look on your face. It's so incredibly laughable that I'd like to smash it and put a frame around it. My devil is so pathetic. Pathetic. Lame. Lame. Yeah.
Bathed in the sneers of Berncastle, a being who was like a mother to her, Erika was so ashamed that it looked as though she'd chew her lower lip to pieces.
Someday, I'll definitely... Ushinomiya Battler. Beatrice. Ushinomiya Natsuhi.
This riddle is ours. I
Yep,
won't let...
this is going my cringe compilation.
I won't let anyone get in the way, Beatrice.
Yes! This is kind of a really good cutoff point. and we
That's
are
the
almost
thing
at
about
11.
it. We're like a touch early for it, but this is like the best stopping point that we're gonna get, I think. And the next bit's really good, so we have good things to look forward to next week.
What's the song? I don't remember, but I always really like it.
If the summary is to be believed, it's called About Face.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Or I don't know.
The translated name of it is About Face. It's Kururi, if I'm reading that right, is the Japanese name of it.
Oh, I really also really like this scene, but also it'll be going on for a while.
It'll be going on for a while, and we really want to give it its time. I don't want to be rushing or half-hearted through it. I think this is a good place to call it for the evening. Thank you all for hanging out, chatting, chilling, all these beautiful things.
Welcome to Lambda Delta's fan fiction corner.
Welcome to Lambda Delta's fanfiction corner. What a fucking trip. I love this scene so much. That was like even more fun than I remembered it being. I truly think, I kind of alluded to this earlier, I think like voice acting through it really does add so much fun to it, because you have to kind of get invested in every scene. You have to be kind of like thinking about characters and motivations and like all that stuff throughout a whole scene as you're doing it. And so I feel like it forces me to like engage with a reread of a lot of stuff a lot more closely than I otherwise would. And that makes it really fun, because it's like it's a great scene, and it's fun to really like get into it and get into the emotions of it. And I mean, Erica having a meltdown is always really fun.
I always love to see her crying, screaming.
She's the character that gets me the most physically animated while I'm like voicing her. I don't
you
move.
Really do.
I don't move this much for any other character, but I have to be like
you get the Hideyoshi.
Yeah. Like I'll sometimes give Kinzo both hands in the air when the mood calls for it, but Erica, I'm like pounding my fists on the air. I'm like gripping. I'm doing a lot of like digging my nails into my palm for her a lot. It really is where I achieve. It just feels right. Can't do her voice correctly if you're not throwing a fit.
Yeah, you did as great as you could without like literally going onto the floor throwing a temper tantrum.
That's true, and trying not to literally actually scream because it is nighttime. So doing what I could to express her tantrums. Crying and spitting. Exactly. God, episode 5 really is good. Many are saying this.
Many people are saying this.
Well, we've got some very fun stuff to look forward to next time that I really, really like the next scene as well. I think
it's very good.
one.
I love it.
So I'll be excited to be able to give that
It's also one of my favorite lines in episode 5.
Yeah. And
I don't even know if you're thinking of the same one that I'm thinking of.
I don't know, but we can debrief afterward, and I know I'll agree. So, that's what matters. Gamers, thank you so much for hanging out. What a lovely evening this has been. What a pleasure as always. And we look forward to seeing you next week. We will see you again. Have a good one, guys, and happy International Women's Day.
Have a good one, guys, and may you crank it thrice.
May you crank it thrice.